Gentlemen, it's your brother Bolo for you now. We in the space. I wish order this Mystic Sensations him a play before you any live. How I go on so?
So just be me one more
Yeah,
order.
let
Listen
me
to
hear
this,
what I go
Jamaica.
on so.
Yesterday on Market Street. And it is a shame
Hmm.
that the government gave it to one person.
What?
And he's the owner of that one on Barnett Street and the one in Fairview. Fairview is about 1 mile drive or walk from Barnett Street. He only has those two Western Union. And all the people in Jamaica who
Good
got
night, guys.
relief money, those are the only two locations that they had to line up to get it. So when the GOP came up this morning says that alliance,
Hey,
that
Sassy 81, what's up?
everybody getting the money, I can
Good night.
confirm that it's a lie. I've seen
Tick
people
tock.
in the crowd who say that they're
Who is
there from
here?
1
Let me
to
know where you
o'clock in
guys
the
watching
morning,
from.
and the only Christian Union on Sundays only able to give 5 people any money at all. And what is happening is that
All is well?
Western Union
Yes. I am home.
automatically take
I
$1,000
am here.
off of whatever fund that they get. And then on the outside, Western Union has these boys who scare the
Kerry, what's up,
members, the
Kerry?
ticket members, to go inside for 5,000.
Whoa.
There was a scuffle last week,
The good man.
Tuesday.
The good
The
man.
Monday, they got a woman to do it, and the woman run off with $170-something thousand because they didn't even know the woman. And when the woman collected the money, she ran off. And the security and the tellers inside they were all pissed off because they didn't get their share with her because the woman ran away. So what they did,
D-Mac,
like the
what's up?
shoemaker and other security who work in the area, they had them selling the tickets for 5,000. And then last week, Tuesday, one of the guys was charging $10,000 to the potential customers to get a number to go inside. But at the end of the day, he didn't want to share his money with the two security guards inside Western Union and with the tellers inside. So that was a big scuffle. But thereafter, um, they they didn't get much money. Some people come there like three, 4 days in a
Allegris.
row and get nothing.
Wow.
Um, this week it was for Trelawney. The first week was Westmoreland and
Hi, Nika, what's up, Nika?
St. Elizabeth. Then Hanover. And then this week is supposed to be those in Trelawney and who's
Hi,
represented in
Karen.
St. Anne. But they all have to come to these two locations in Montgomery. But today, after the news yesterday, there were less people in the line, far less people, but we're still selling tickets for
Good
five thousand
night.
dollars on the outside, and that money had to share up between the Western Union security and the Western Union towers. Otherwise, the people didn't get a chance to go inside. But
Yeah, man.
yes, the money ran
Let's get to
out
50,000
last week.
likes, guys.
Most
Share
days
up
it
the
ran
live.
out like 5, 10 people, never go over 35 people. And there's thousands of people outside out in the sun burning. I can tell you because I am right there. I see firsthand and know firsthand everything.
Okay.
It's a horrible life.
With me.
It's
All right,
ugly percent.
Jamaica. I'm gonna have to
But
close
this
it
man,
here,
I'm
but
getting
just want to
bored.
show you
Okay.
the viciousness, right, in terms of Anjona's administration. Suffering the people,
Whoa.
right? Suffering the people. So, I mean, Jamaica, we can't stop, right, in terms of fighting for good governance, right? Once again, I want to say thanks for making it Mystic
Big
Sense.
up Mystic Sensation and the whole team. And big up Mr. Will Rattigan for the answer to my question. Hold on there.
But whatever you got, I want to ask you a question.
Auditor technology is the fact that
I see that you're calling. Yes, go ahead, call.
Yes, good night.
Yes, go ahead, call.
Yes, good night.
Oh, Bolo, what one?
Big up Bolo.
Oh, yeah.
Big up yourself, you know, Melting Pot, General, and Mama Mystic. Big up. And Mr. Will Rattigan, big up every time. No look a joke about it. You understand what I deal with? And Daisy magazine, if you're listening more, you're on the app more now, we need it, you know. Your voice is a sound voice of reasoning, you know, Daisy. You understand? Me love to hear your perspective on things because Daisy, how she put it, or Daisy alone put it that way there. She have a local methodology about her with us. It crisp and it hit hard. You know the way there? Pint and pint. Like an aromatic. No look a joke.
Ladies before gentlemen.
Melting pot, your name is Will Rattigan. No other questions for Mr. Will Rattigan.
All right.
Given his area of expertise, imagine if something like that happened in this jurisdiction where a Rosalie Hamilton came out and made, you know, these not came out, but the voice notes went out in the United States that these allegations against the individual. My question is this: does an entity, not as big as the FBI, but anywhere near their need an invitation to go and investigate those claims, or would they go ahead of their own initiative to investigate the claims, given the seriousness of it? That would be my question.
own initiative. You don't need anything more than this public statement by this public figure coming out and talking about corruption and other things as well. You wouldn't need anything more than that to start what they call a preliminary investigation. So they would look at the allegations, they do some searches, they talk to some people, and then they gather all of that and then look at it and say, okay, we have enough here that we can open up a full investigation. And now when you say a full investigation, I mean, you start dig deep. You start looking to people's travel patterns.
Yes.
You start looking to their text messages. You start looking to their phone calls.
Yes.
You start target sources against them. You find out who their contacts are.
Yes.
You go into the bank book, look at the transfers, coming in, going out. You look at their side, you look at the whole thing. And so these allegations that she's making, they're very, very serious. And I can tell you that if that had been where I live, an investigation, at the very least, a preliminary investigation would have occurred already, or would have been initiated already. So we'll see what happens in Jamaica. You know, if this is another thing where, you know, it's like much ado about nothing. You hear some stuff and it lasts about 9 days and then it's overtaken by another story and then people forget it. And that's one of the things that we suffer from in Jamaica, malaise, you know, and I guess because we get so used to these things now. So it's like we hear it and then, you know, it lingers for a few days and then you hear a bigger story or a seemingly bigger story. So you forget about that one day. But the beauty about this age that we're living in, the age of technology, is the fact that these things don't have to be 9-day wonders, because then you have people like a Bolo, you have people like a Mystic, you have people like a...
Respect Will Rattigan. You have people like a Will Rattigan. No look a joke. You know him aim. Now make Daryl Van slide up your pipeline, you know. Daryl quiet like a lamb. You know nothing from him, Jamaica. Our last name from Daryl Vaz. From the investigation started, man. No time. We are waiting for him resurface, because you know him love beating chest, you know. Beating chest and make up be nice. You understand? But voice of JA, pick up yourself.
Where I go hold people accountable and things that happen, but we not forget them. So, like for example, we're not done with, you know, they said the bus was last year, the bus was last year, July. And you see me come and talk about the bus tonight. And it's relevant. And it bring up fresh information. It's like a developing thing. Right?
Exactly.
The drill, we don't forget about the drill, you know. We don't forget about the drill. We don't forget about. And look at it, while we are focused on these things, what come out? University Hospital of the West Indies, right?
Yes.
This thing have come up. A whole heap of things have come. So it's like you drink from a hydrant. But you know what? If enough are we there, we can drink from the hydrant.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
And that's how we are going to do.
Yeah, man. Hey, may I tell you, Jamaica, the amount of scandal and bangarang we are up, man, at Jamaica Labour Party. Unless it's a PAC meeting mashup. Brother, I say, me never see Julian Robinson and them the type of element there. Ever. The man was like, what? What you say? What you mean? Yeah, explain that to me good again, because I'm going to take me ear what you say. You serious? At them the type of reaction they get from the chairman of the PAC, Public Accounts Committee. And that's supposed to tell you everything when you need to know. Say, yo, this thing has gotten way out of hand. There's no checks and balances. There's no accountability under the Jamaica Labour Party. And to be frank with you, it appears to me that they don't want any. They just want to run rogue, do what they do, and nobody not supposed to question them. Just believe them when them say they must spend the money the right way. They don't want nobody to audit them, brother. Them not depend that. Them not depend that.
So, did your question answer?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we don't need nobody to ask more because if we investigate this thing,
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, this should be the standard. That's what I would have expected.
Yes.
So we don't need a mark going to come out and ask more and the integrity commission.
I agree. I agree.
That's what they are, because the allegation there are some serious allegations.
Agreed.
We don't want to. But let's
Blessings. Blessings.
Big up, Bolo.
My respect, Melting Pot. No, Jamaica. You know, I have to touch for the PDTV too. You know. What time now? I have to watch it time because my friend's birthday strike 12 o'clock. You understand? I know right now she out and about. Just don't talk to her and tell her early happy birthday. But 12 o'clock they play one song for her. I don't know, she might have touched on the you call it, she might have said, Mama son, what go on? My friend, she might have touched on the live when her birthday, like, so you know, me have one song away upon her. But so today Jamaica, you know, let me just touch on this first because it's important. It's very important, Jamaica. It's important me touch upon it. I couldn't go in a PAC and not touch upon this. Let me just touch upon this first. If I even want 10, 15 minutes, I have to touch upon this. I tell her, this serious.
Deputy Chair of the...
This serious.
2007, 2010, and now in 2026.
2010, they borrowed what? 2.4 billion.
And they got it up front. They never get it in tranches like Peter Phillips.
Was their rule. Never in the history of this country. You can't say you did.
Hold on.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yes, my brother.
Right, that's some more. You need to touch upon this.
Yeah, man, good man.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I say that under this present Jamaica Labour Party government, poor people have benefited more than ever in the history of this country. Have benefit more under this government.
I come from mash down that lie, Jamaica. You understand? Big up Shaka. I understand the dynamics. You understand? This man make the show interesting because him stir up the antness. But me come from mash down that liar. What is he talking about? Which poor people benefit under Jamaica Labour Party? It is widely understood that the wealthy is favored under Jamaica Labour Party. All of their policies, all of their actions point to that direction. We just got hit by Hurricane Melissa, and what are they doing? Taxing the poor when they should be doing the reverse. While having the economy for 10 years, pivoting on growth from them start, that them say 5 in 4 or 4 in 5, and never 5 in 4 or 4 in 5 never happen. This is the reality of the Jamaica Labour Party performance over a 10-year period. They have failed the economy. How you doing, Dorrit? Absolutely failed the economy. There's no two ways about it. Just look at the beginning of how they got the economy and look at where they are right now and tell me if that is a prosperous performance of growth between 2016 and 2026. So even the question itself is an oxymoron. But Marcus, big up yourself, Marcus Garvey. But let's listen more.
And PNP government will stand.
No, I disagree with you. No.
Government and ever in the history of this country are benefit more under this government one and PNP government will stand.
No, I disagree with you. No.
So when the government during COVID and other time put $20,000 in poor people and in
Jamaica, make we stop right there, sir. So nephew, come for deceive the people then about this $20,000. I mean notice say Shaka and Ralston Hyman, they missed this, you know. So me, I was listening to it and I never missed it. It is sharp in the back of my mind. Hold on. Let us go to this argument about that money, ladies and gentlemen. Let us go to this. I'm sure I did a TikTok video about it. Let me go back. Let me see if it's this one. Growth start. No, that's not the one. It is labeled very specifically towards two words. That impose those taxes. Let me see. Which one of these is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
how
man.
you doing?
I this.
Welcome to the platform.
Yes.
You know, sir, I stand there and say I think I didn't teach me something.
Yes.
So may I share it to them because
That is it.
you know, so the problem don't know neither. Somehow.
Yes.
So they have to learn. Listen to this.
We're here to
It's
learn.
about the speech from that was a speech, it wasn't a budget debate. The speech from Favor Williams. Gigantic waste of time on the studies.
You're a rally. Yeah, revenue neutral means that they collect back the taxes. At first, you said it wouldn't be revenue neutral. It would cost us nothing. Yeah. But for the people of Jamaica, revenue neutral means that you collect back the money where you give it.
Absolutely. So, when should they in a parliament that talk about no taxes and revenue neutral? So, Favor, when they take back the money, only do it. So, what was that benefit to us? We never do anything for me. We do it to make ourselves look good because you know so most people don't know what revenue neutral means. Well, we are here to echo the voice of Rasta Hyman. Let's continue.
And again, by way of history, in 2012, all those tax packages that we had between 2013 and 2016 was due to the JP government mismanagement of the economy, running up.
Before we go into mismanagement of the economy, you see the $20,000 where this man talked about in 2020, that was what you call revenue neutral. It means that the government took back the money from our taxes. So they gave us and took away. So they didn't really give us anything. We had to pay back the government for the money that they gave us. Can I get an amen? Go do the research for yourself. This is how them trick the people because the people not going to look up what revenue neutral mean. Some people not even listening to the debate. Remember what the Minister of Finance say. And really if you check back and say, hold on, revenue neutral, what that mean? Because she said it in her budget speech, you know. And you know, I go find it. Because I don't know be determined like that, right? No more, man. I know if you find it fast in our budget speech. JIS. That easy to find. Our budget speech easy to find on the line. How comes them now? No parliament today. Me here say such people really never want.
We are joined today by members of the diplomatic corps. They are seated to my right in the gallery above, officials from the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, as well as members of civil society. I do take note of 3 of our senators here too, Senator Morgan, Senator Bennett Cooper, and Senator Golding, and former Member of Parliament Sharon Hay Webster is seated here. coming to support our Minister of Finance.
And pull out what we need without asking anybody anything. Have debt payment up if we need some foreign exchange. Speaker, we will have to borrow 200 and fiscal year 2014 and 10 billion in fiscal year 2015. When we took over in 2016 with our promise to raise the threshold to 1.5, and we came in, we had to increase taxes, but we also offset those. The increase in the threshold to 1.
Jamaica, want to hear that? She subtly admitted that there was new taxes. Yeah. Let's continue. That's not what I'm here for, but let's continue.
0.5 was offset with taxes. But Madam Speaker, for those looking on, will tell you that it was revenue neutral.
Bingo. Let's go back. People want to listen carefully. No matter they say, "Oh no, ramp with Bolo," you know. Play the tape.
Was offset with
Play the tape.
Had to increase taxes, but we also offset those. The increase in the threshold to 1.5 was offset with taxes. But Madam Speaker, for those looking on, will tell you that it was revenue neutral.
What did Rastan Hyman mention what revenue neutral mean? And anybody can challenge Rastan Hyman, you're going to lose. The man is the best financial analyst in the Caribbean. You're going to lose. But challenge him, because that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Because you see, when you challenge him now, when you go look up the information, you're going to say, oh my God, this dude was right. Marsha, how you doing? You're going to say to yourself, oh my God, this dude was right. Favour Williams subtly said revenue neutral in her budget speech, you know. And this was when she was looking at the revenue measures and saying no taxes that the PMP had to put up. After 2015, it was 10 billion, you know, in tax, you know. 2016, when them coming up power, it was 13 billion. So there was new taxes. 2017, 14 billion. 2020, 16 billion. Revenue neutral Jamaica. That is the one with the star on it, with the bracket. That's what you call a revenue neutral, because they gave to Jamaica, not gave back, they gave to the Jamaicans $20,000. Not everybody, but some. But guess what? We, the taxpayers, paid for it. They did not do anything for the Jamaican people. The Jamaican people did it for themselves. That's what you call tax revenue. All right? No, not tax revenue. Revenue neutral. Let's play it back from the start. Listen to this. For our see?
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Welcome to the platform. You know, Sir Rastan say a thing and him teach me something. So I share it to them, because we know some of the problem I know neither. Somehow. So they have to learn. Listen to this. This about the
Hi Nita, how you doing? Good night.
The speech from that was a speech. It wasn't a budget debate. The speech from Favour Williams. Gigantic waste of time, but listen to this.
Do you are rally? Yeah, revenue neutral means that they collect back the taxes.
Revenue neutral means that they collect back the taxes. Jamaica, don't let them trick you here. Anybody will come on my platform, when me learn, you go learn. And when you learn, I'm willing to learn from you. We are going to grow over here. You hear? Me say, don't make them trick you when them talking about them giving you this money. Revenue neutral mean the money is taken back through taxes. Can I get an amen? All right, let's continue. Let's continue, Jamaica. Let's continue.
So when the government during COVID and other time put $20,000 in poor people and increased the part benefit.
$20,000 in a poor people and was revenue neutral. Them never give the people them nothing. That's why I'm going to go back to the tape. Let's continue.
And now, because of Melissa, people is getting up to 500,000 assistance towards their roof. Never in the history of this country. You can't say you disagree.
Why man?
You disagree because never in the.
Why the man can't say disagree? So when name nephew or whatever him want name, him want to put Ralston Ironman in one place so him have to disagree. Ralston Ironman not take bully, brother. Ralston Ironman deal with facts. So you're not going to bully Ralston Ironman or coerce him. What you going to do, you have to embarrass yourself because you have a bowl of your nar. But remember when Ralston Ironman this about revenue neutral. And you did earmark 2020 and the $20,000. That was revenue neutral. So don't come over here, boy, over Colin Bell show and go like you want to trick the people them. Alright, anybody from Colin Bell show here? Want to make sure someone go over there and rub him out when you see him online here. And tell him, say, don't come to it about 20,000 in 2020. We know what revenue neutral means. When you're educated, them can't trick you, Jamaica. When they know the history, them cannot trick you. These are tricksters. That is what Labour Right do. Them are trickster. Yes? When we attack, we deal with facts and evidence. And if we not deal with facts and evidence, we have the integrity to tell you, this is what I believe. This is my opinion. We have the integrity to tell you that. We're not going to act like said, that is what it is. This is my opinion, Jamaica. We're not afraid to say that. Because we are entitled to our opinion. It is our legal right to have our opinion. Let's continue.
Hold on, never in the history of this country, we have ever had any events like that. And we are saying to you now that all those things that you are talking about, the government is requiring 35 billion in taxes from the people over the next 2 years, and also taking another almost 22 billion from the NHT. Let me read something to you. Here's what Statin said, right? Statin, a government agency. While the proportion of Jamaica's population that is below the poverty line is officially 8.2%, the percentage of Jamaican people to fall into poverty is 17.7%. That's what Statin said in relation to 2023. So although the official rate is said to be 8.2%, Statin said in 2023, some 17.7% of the population was in danger of falling in poverty. Check that.
But Raleigh, hold on, nephew, I want to tell you something. You're talking about the government gave 20,000. The $35 billion taxes that the government want now. That is an average of $12,000 per person in Jamaica, you know, nephew.
Yeah, man.
You never realize that, nephew?
No.
Hey, me not like Colin Bell beat him with this, you know. Colin Bell beat him, he see him a laugh. He couldn't take him and say, boy, I have to go left for no car, I'm not too dangerous. But if I was on the program and I could have called in, more than knock him with him, I say, because him said, I said, but revenue neutral mean them take back the money in our taxes. So why you talk about the $20,000? What them give the people them? It's revenue neutral. That would have killed him argument right there. So because him talk about never been seen before and the government do this and the government did nothing. They did nothing, Jamaica. They get no credit. The truth is not an offense. The truth will set you free. They did nothing. All right, for my people on YouTube, right up here, sir, on your screen, there is a thumbs up button looking like this. Press it for me, please. All 119 of you. So the video can go out there and share the live with somebody new. Consider becoming a member of the platform. The super chat is open, the PayPal, the Zelle, the Cash App, all of that. You can see it in the pinned comment. All right, if you send a Zelle or what you call it, Cash App, you can WhatsApp me the screenshot of the receipt. Anyway, moving on.
No.
It's 12,000 at 2.8 million people. It's $12,500 each, and we're going to have to find the government.
And Colin, see, the Bank of Jamaica stopped them, can't bring no interest rate to bank. Precisely.
No.
Right. Yeah, man. I remember.
You know, the people them who make up this budget, they have the.
You can't determine that because we are here fight and we are set to fight now. Stop.
How are these people surviving? How are they living, Raleigh?
Next 2 years, and also taking another almost 22 billion from the NHT. Let me read something to you. Here's what Statin said.
13,000.
Yeah.
if it detect COVID coming into Jamaica?
In March.
Federal stamp.
Yeah, so they benefit from the tailwinds of that. And that was the last time we grew by 3%.
Yes.
Yep.
And since 2016.
F1 guys, F1.
Which year was their best year, Ralston?
Somebody a flag
in
me.
terms of growth?
Coming into COVID, just before COVID, we got.
So about 100,000 in the domestic worker industry.
All right, that's some more. Right, that's some.
You said that our workforce supposed to be in the middle of the field for a little while. I think he's coming off now. So, and the team, they failed miserably.
Yeah, man. That is why after that they said, boy, by the way, we never been fighting for it, was just aspiration.
Look like the referee is injured.
Referee injured?
Yeah.
Oh.
The referee leaving the field. Was in the middle of the field. We might have 50 stoppage time. We might have. This is the Colin Bell Show. We are live on Caribbean Radio, 97.9 HD 4 Bulgaria Radio. Check it out. So, with all that said, Raleigh, unemployment is 3.6%.
Listen to this.
That's a farce.
Yeah, man.
That don't really make sense.
Them always talk about the 1960s coming into the 70s. Yeah? But what them fail to tell you that is that the plan that they were working off in the night and Crabnet and the ratio that they're talking about now, yeah, was 262%.
And nobody opposing them.
Yeah, man.
Nephew.
Yeah, man.
What was poverty then?
34.7%. It was 34%. Back to GDP.
How Yannick, are you doing?
9%. And the debt to GDP was 100. And growth, yep.
Alston, in terms of growth, that's the best.
Yeah, man.
PLP standard by the standard set.
Yeah, man. That is why after that they said, boy, by the way, we never meant 5 in 4, it was just aspirational.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
He was in the middle of the field for my time to go on. All right, 105, 8 minutes leaving the show. We are live on Bulgaria. Employment is 3.6%. With all that said, Raleigh.
Yes.
Unemployment is 3.6%.
Listen to this.
That's a farce.
Yeah, man.
That don't really make sense.
Listen to the statistics.
No.
It's almost like slavery.
Jamaica get on a pen and paper. Uno not gonna believe this. Me say uno not gonna believe. Get on a pen and paper and listen to this statistic about unemployment. Listen carefully. All right. We not try to do the say government a trick, you know, when this unemployment thing and people don't believe, you know. Listen to this.
Yeah. And as we say, 32,000 persons left the labor force.
Hold on, Raleigh. There's something else I want to calculate. You said that our workforce supposed to be 1,389,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the number of persons working. The workforce is 1 million.
No, the number of persons working.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So out of that 1,389.
1,289,000.
300,000 bucks run a Mr. Lee, run a Mr. Chuck. 240.
Yeah, about 245, 250,000. Yeah, man.
I do them own little thing.
Yeah, man.
What about people who are domestic helpers and ancillary staff?
Them now got breakout, but the last time the number that we got was over 100,000 persons in the domestic workers industry.
So about 100,000 in the domestic worker industry.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes us to over 600,000. And maybe the question I need to ask you, how many people are working minimum wage?
About 60% of our workforce working minimum wage.
So more than half of the people who are working is
minimum wage.
17,000, 16,000 a week.
Yeah, man.
How does these people survive now, Raleigh? That
all right,
go.
All right, that's a good point. So here's what the Bank of Jamaica said. In addition, higher than projected inflation expectation, what consumers and businesses expect inflation to be in the future could contribute to inflationary pressures. Further upward price pressures may arise from stronger than anticipated impact of higher domestic spending amid the post-hurricane recovery efforts. On the downside, the impact of higher prices could lead to a reduction in demand as a result of weaker consumer purchasing power.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think you mentioned it a while ago. There's something talking about 18% of Jamaicans may fall below the poverty line.
Yeah, man.
Jamaica,
Starting said that. Yep.
18% of Jamaicans may fall below the poverty line. Yo, the statistics coming out as starting is staggering. It's all negative. All negative, Jamaica.
Oh, when? Did they give a timeline where that possibility could happen?
Well, they are reporting the severe living conditions. So when you hear the thing about the poverty line is 8.2%, that's not today. That's in 2023. Many people don't understand that. So Statin says that in 2023, although officially only 8.2% of the population was below the poverty line, 17.7% was in danger of falling below the poverty line. So both those below and those who are intending to below is about 26% of the population.
Right.
That's 2023, 3 years ago.
And things now get better.
No, that's the point we're making. Yep. Prices are going up on all of those things, so yep.
1-876-804-707.
Pause.
Almost 5 times the 60% that they're talking
and a lot
about.
of people don't remember that between 1983 and...
I guess I'm going to play it off on my phone because I tell you, say, I go think somebody record it too, you know. More want to hear the statistics of unemployment versus persons that are not seeking employment, that has given up on the workforce completely, Jamaica. It is a staggering statistic, but I had recorded it on my phone. Hold on, let me get to that video. Give me a second, quickly. I think this is it, yeah.
All right. So the next thing that we got today was the labor force survey. So what Statin is telling us is that more people are leaving the labor market. So some 32,900 persons left the labor market between January of 2025 and January of this year. So the number of persons outside of the labor market is now 714,800. For
Jamaica, there's 714,000 Jamaicans that are not considered unemployed. They are not seeking a job, so they are not considered unemployed. They are marked as unemployed. Andrew Holness government with them pseudo statistics come out and say Jamaica is at the lowest of unemployment it's ever been, ever in the history of Jamaica. Jamaica, it is a lie from the pits of hell. You cannot have 700,000 persons that are not considered unemployed, that don't have a job, not seeking a job, and then you want us to swallow that statistic. I will forever challenge the unemployment rate that they're talking about. You cannot compare it to other years. You only can compare it to the years that it was established. So if this new method of calculating unemployment started in 2021, whenever it started, you have to now gauge your performance from that time until now. You cannot go before that time because it's not credible. When you look at the science and you stand it up against the previous. Do you know that if you work 1 hour a week, Jamaica, you are considered employed? What can 1 hour a week do for somebody that pay rent? What can 1 hour a week? This is a homeless person you're talking about. This is somebody we are catch. This is somebody that live with them people them not have nothing for themselves and cannot afford to rent. You are not working poor. You are dirt poor. That's not working poor. You're dirt poor. 1 hour a week? What job is that? What you doing? You're servicing a machine that makes millions of dollars a day and it's not working, and you can do it in a 1 hour. So you get one big lump sum of money for that particular expertise. That's not the case. If you work 1 hour a week, Jamaica, you're considered employed under the new employment standards. And there is 700,000 plus people in Jamaica now in 2026 that are not working and not seeking a job. And you're going to hear why. Let's continue. It gets worse for their statistic.
And 25,300 females and 289,600 males.
Say them no want to work.
No work.
Yeah, outside of the labor force. Yeah.
Why these people don't want to work,
Listen,
Raleigh? Explain
Because
to
they
the
believe
listeners and viewers.
that work put them in a deficit because the pay too low and can't deal with them expenses. Some people.
You hear that, Jamaica? Going to work is more expensive than staying in your yard. I don't think y'all heard. It is so bad that for some people, going to work, the pay where them a get, if you go to work, no make no sense. It's better than stay there. Yeah, them have a better chance going on TikTok and getting one lion. By the way, TikTok, anybody want to give me a lion fee first time, just a plug that in. It would be dope right now. I would be so excited. But anyway, them have a better chance going on TikTok and getting a lion than going to work and actually spending less than what they would take to go to work. Because them live so far, all type of things happen. Why it costs them more? To feed themselves every day at work cost them more than if them did just stay at the yard and burn them belly and eat some mango off a tree and some coconut and some banana and take 2 dumplings with salt. May I tell you, them better off staying at the yard and going to work at 9 to 5. It costs more to go to work, Jamaica. Remember when Mark Golden said it is $100 for a bottle of water? In some cases are more than that. Well, in this case, this is the new wave. It costs less for turn in your yard than go work one job where you work minimum wage. Believe. That is how bad it is in Jamaica economically. That's why there's 700,000 people who decide to say them, nah, go work no 9 to 5, brother. A joke thing, bro. Oh, and it gets worse. You see people in my hustle, even they are being, what you're calling now, they are being discouraged. Them not make no money neither. Listen, I have experience where that is concerned. Yes, man. I've been working for myself in many capacities. I can tell you about that. Where you go out and you spend more money that you had on you than you made for the night. And you didn't do anything spontaneous. You never went a bath, you never buy anybody no drink, nothing. And you spend more money than you made for the night. Counterproductive, even the hustling in Jamaica. It bad. It really bad. And this was, I don't know, 6 years ago? Imagine now with the war and everything that is going on. The stagnant nature of the economy, the stubbornness of the government to follow good procedure that would actually grow the economy. Yes, it is a hey, listen to me, Colleen. It's a big con from the government. A big con. I challenge any of them. Call me name and say, Bolo spread misinformation. Please. Just give me that level of the attention there. I want to see what I do. You know. Rub on out with facts. Rub on out. And I will not be sorry. Anyone on the government official can tell me, say, I lie, Bolo tell. When me say 1 hour a week, you are considered employed. Me go read it for myself. No boy can chat to me. You cannot use this unemployment rate to judge the previous unemployment rate. It is a act of what they call, you know, dishonesty. It does not match up. Sergi, big up. It don't match up. Compare the from on a change on to calculate unemployment rate and what is on to change the definition of it. Listen, it is like changing God's word when God said God made man and woman. That means anything anybody else identify as, God never say make that. and now you are go against God. It's the same thing as trying to compare. It's not even apples and oranges. Yo, it's further than day and night. It don't work. I'm sorry. It doesn't. It doesn't. That's wild, bro. Let's continue. Alright, let's continue.
That make no sense.
So hold on, make a look at this thing here. So
Sean
here's
W, big up.
unemployment.
Unemployment is 3.6%
Okay.
compared to 3.7% in 2025. The labor force is so the total labor force or the number of persons working was 1.389 million, down from 1.44 million in 2025.
So Jamaica in 2025, there was 1.4 million persons working. There's more people now joining the unemployment, or not the unemployment, they not seeking a job, not seeking a 9-to-5 job. 100,000 plus people has joined that team. Let me play it back. I don't think I joke.
It's 3.6% compared to 3.7% in 2025. The labor force is so the total labor force or the number of persons working was 1.389 million, down from 1.44 million in 2025. So less people are working, but the labor force is smaller because more people move outside of the labor force and so them don't want to work.
Less people are working and the labor force is smaller. Does that bode well for the economy where collection of tax is concerned? No, it is not. The maths is not maths in Jamaica. These are poor. So 120,000 persons has joined the team of, oh, I'm not unemployed, but I'm not employed. Yo, that's crazy. Let's continue. How you doing, Elmire? Colleen said, this JLP led government change all statistical for. No, I don't think. I think it's not a JLP standard. You know, I think it's something that they signed off on globally. My thing is this: the global world looks at it in that manner. If that is the case, my thing is this: I cannot compare eras. It's like trying to compare Michael Jordan era to this era in basketball. So there's no comparison. One was tougher and this one is soft. The unemployment rate is a soft unemployment rate, Jamaica. It is a soft era. It does not compare to a strong, solid unemployment rate back in the day. A government would have to work harder to bring down the unemployment rate under the circumstances in the past because of how it was calculated. Versus now, all you have to do is label persons that are not seeking a job employed, or not put them in the unemployment sector, in the unemployment area. So when you compare the numbers of persons that are in the workforce, is the ones that want work, seeking a job, and they have a job. I hope it makes sense. I really hope it makes sense. But there's more.
And a lot of people don't understand that rally.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lack of understanding, and then the government uses their narrative to bamboozle the people to say that we have low unemployment.
Correct.
But you are saying that in 2025, 1,444,000 people were working.
Yeah.
That has now gone down to 1,389,000.
Yeah, that's a decline of 30,100 as starting says. So let them say how we say so. We have the starting report in front of us right now.
So
30,000.
So 30,000.
30,100 people less are now working compared with in last year.
So
That's
30,100 people less working this year than last year compared. Sorry.
Tracking data.
So what people also need to understand is how they calculate the unemployment. If when they do the survey, they come to Colin Bell and I say, I now look no work.
Correct.
They don't count me as unemployed.
Correct.
I have to tell them that I am looking a job.
I can't find no work.
Right. If I say I now work for $17,000 a week, so me nah take them work there. They don't count me.
Correct. Correct. So what I'm saying is that.
So when you hear that, Jamaica, if you're not seeking a job, they don't count you as unemployed. That is what is causing. When you hear them talk about 3% of Jamaica is unemployed, madness. If you was to count the persons not seeking a job, you're looking more of the 40% or 40% of persons in Jamaica unemployed. 700,000 people, and a dibby number that of persons that not seeking a job, And it gets worse. But guess what? I'm gonna post that video tomorrow. I'm not going to play all of it. I'm just playing that part. Let's get to the main course of action. I not really realize say me gone so far in Jamaica. To be honest with you, I never even realized so me gone so far in it. Zane, let me switch back to my computer now. So me can, do the things. Yeah, man, you can do the things, Yeah. I'll go back to the computer, so and play this video.
Yes, on. External audit was done at the University Hospital.
The last one was done for 2018-2019. It was done by KPMG. The one currently being done that will, as I have mentioned, will recommence in April is for 2019-2020 and for 2020 to 2025. That was tendered and a firm has been selected, but we are awaiting the completion. Some work will take place on the 20 to 25, but we are awaiting the finalization of the 19 to 2020 in order to move forward.
And maybe Ministry of Finance, is it a requirement that there should be an annual exercise?
Picked up by the internal audit department is that they took place outside of the university. So the use of like the tax status, the tax status was not processed internally.
When you're opening up a can of worms that you can't really close, you're going to have to elaborate on that.
That's exactly what
I was going to waiting to go.
My work really stops at that point. It's the duty and function of the audit committee to call in various heads of departments and deal with those matters. So once I've reported it to the head of the entity and the audit committee chair, they are based on the government audit committee policy. They should action those issues that are in the report. And once they accept those issues and we make recommendation, they should implement them. And we will do a follow-up on those issues and provide report to the CEO and the audit committee on whether or not those issues have been rectified. Chairman.
Jamaica, good evening. The wider world, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, right? This is the internal audit of the UHWI at the PAC meeting. And I want us to listen very carefully because what was said by this man was some of the most disturbing things. I couldn't have imagined. Dr. Alfred Dawes, I want to say salute to you, sir. OG Kicks, big up yourself. Dr. Alfred Dawes was raising the alarm in a very, very different way last year. And people thought it was just an election ploy. No. When the People's National Party said Jamaica needs to be rescued, they did not tell a single lie. What is happening at the UHWI is a microcosm of a larger picture. And even the Auditor General said it. She said it in the PAC meeting that this is worse than we could ever even think. It's bigger than what she's seen. Based on what she's seen, she knows that this thing that was happening in the UHWI, we haven't even scratched the surface, Jamaica. We haven't even scratched the surface.
All right, thank you. Member Miller and then Member Cousins.
Thank you, Chair. This message, this question for guidance from the Auditor General. in terms of procurement limits, could you guide me as how what amount that goes to a procurement committee versus cabinet versus the board, whether or not this falls within procurement policy as you've seen with the University of West Indies, or they have a different limit? Just for guidance, what exists with the procurement policy versus the board?
I know it really shouldn't be you. I was going to ask the Minister of Finance, Ms. Blake, or your designate to answer that question.
Guided Chair.
Good morning, everybody. Please indicate your name and position.
My name is Joel Barrett. I'm the Chief Public Procurement Policy Officer at the Ministry of Finance and Public Service. The procurement committee inside of the entity, the limit that is set is set by the head of entity. The practice is for that limit to be anything above the single source completion threshold, which for goods and services is $3 million. So anything above that goes to the procurement committee.
Just for clarity, make the distinction between procurement committee of an entity versus the government's public procurement committee.
Right. So internally, in an entity, you have a procurement committee which has the mandate of reviewing and making recommendations to the head of the entity as to whether or not it should or should not approve a procurement contract. Separately, you have the Public Procurement Commission, which approves contract above $60 million. Right? So you have the procurement committee inside the entity. What they review is dependent on what the head of entity says they should review. The general practice is that they review anything above the single source completion threshold, which is $3 million for goods and services and $5 million for works contracts. Now, the head of entity can approve a contract up to $60 million. If the contract amount is above $60 million but less than $100 million, then that contract needs the approval as well of the Public Procurement Commission. Above $100 million, the contract would need the approval of the head of entity, the Public Procurement Commission, and the Cabinet of Jamaica. So those are the relevant limits.
So, Chairman.
What that brother just said, is key, and it's not something to gloss over, but it's something to keep a note of, because I believe we're going to get back to those limits. What are those limits? Between 3 million, you can deal with it, 5 million, and between 5 million and this, between 50 million and 100 million, anything over 100 million, anything over 60 million. And you see the different tiers of who needs to be involved to actually approve those things. Interesting. Let's continue.
If I might, just to further that question, some entities, depending on the risk factor, would set thresholds between the 5 million and the $60 million. For example, where I worked before, anything over $30 million must go to the board for approval. And at the end of every month...
But that is determined by the entity itself.
Yes.
It's not uniform across the board.
No, because some people might say we live within the $60 million, and some entities might say, no, I want to get involved early, I want to probe early, I don't want any surprises. So I've worked in other institutions in the Ministry of Health, where the threshold has been much, much lower than that $60 million that Mr. Barrett spoke to.
That is good to know. So there's other entities that he has worked with within the healthcare sector that, $60 million is very high. So that is good to know. All right. So $30 million would be something that would, raise some eyebrows and have some people having to come in there and say, wait a minute, let's have a look at this. The past 30 million, yeah, we need to zoom in on that.
Just a follow-up, Chair. What, in terms of UHWI, what is the board, what are the limits for the board at UHWI in terms of?
The UHWI follows the limits set by the government. So the limits that were explained by the Ministry of Finance just now is the procedure and the guidelines that we follow. We should follow.
So when does it go to the board? Because I remember earlier mentioned at what limit? it goes to the board.
No, at this time, we only follow straight the government. We don't have a system whereby there's a limit to say it must go to the board. We are following what the government procurement guidelines dictate.
Very well.
All right, member Cousins, then let's see member Hamilton and Morrison after.
Thank you, Chairman. The question is one of the same procedural line of argument. In terms of the minutes of the board meeting, just to be clear, the minutes of the board meeting are usually submitted to the region, you say, and the minister. So, for example, in a case where an issue is reported to the board, that would normally be captured in the minutes of the meeting. Should,
Yes,
ought to.
yes, ma'am. Ought to, yeah.
Yeah, emphasis on ought to.
Yeah.
Right. And these minutes of these meetings, how long would you keep them on record?
We would keep them for a long time because you can destroy the minutes, and the ministry would not be the only entity who would have the minutes. The minutes would originate from the particular department of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
So where the minutes go to the region and the minister, and it comes to the attention, speculating that the issue arises from the minutes of the meeting and there's no action, then the region could have stepped in at that stage, or the minister, correct?
No, the region should have stepped in before. In the case of a region, the region ought to have stepped in before because we get the minutes of the regional boards.
Yes.
Just like we should get minutes of the
So it goes to the region and the minister. Misses the attention, or the region omits to peruse that minute thoroughly. But the minister, who gets a copy of that report, when he looks at that report and he identifies that there's an issue that has not been addressed, what is the next step? What is the procedure from it?
Well, I can't speak for the minister.
Yeah.
But the minister have representatives on the board. He appoints the board members. He appoints the chairman. The permanent secretary has a representative on most boards.
You have an ex-officio generally for most boards.
We have for most boards, the permanent secretary have a representative on regional boards. The CMO is a member of the University Hospital Board by virtue of her being the chief medical officer of Jamaica. When things happen at the board meeting, it is a responsibility, if there is something of concern, for the chairman to speak to the minister appoints the chairman, for the chairman to speak to the minister. If there is a matter that is egregious or needs the minister's attention.
They're talking about the communication, the lines of communication when there's a breakdown in the actual system. And the chairman and certain board members appointed by the minister, which would be Christopher Tufton in this case, we're dealing with health here. He's the one that's supposed to have that line of communication have hold certain checks and balances where the operation is concerned. I think we can all agree that they have failed in this way. And if you want to put the People's National Party in there, I wouldn't even argue with it, because certain things happened in this particular hospital over the last 18 years. Period. That includes Mama P era. So I wouldn't even go into a spot of a political back and forth. I will say this. Even in Bruce Golding did it, and so it started from Bruce Golding. Mama P, for whatever reason, contributed as well in some capacity, because that's how she got it. And maybe she was under too pressure because of the economy. Somebody can argue that. But my point is, even if you want to blame Mama P along with Bruce Golding, it started with the JLB. And then we had Andrew Holness that came, and everything that he campaigned upon was to make things better. He knew how to fix things. He knew how to get it done. That's what he campaigned on, and he did it very vigorously. He was very strong in attacking the People's National Party and making them look incompetent. Now here we are in 2026, 18 years. So Andrew Holness, out of those 18 years, 14 years he was either a senior member of the Jamaica Labour Party. He was at a small portion prime minister that took the reins from a forced retiree of Mr. Bruce Golding, and lost to Mama P, came back, and now he's been here for 10 more years. So 14 years of Andrew Holness in some capacity. At least more than 10 years of him being the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. Call it 10 years. Right? That's the one he won. He was the one in charge fully. He had a lot of seats because of how, fragmented the People's National Party was, and he still couldn't get certain things done, Jamaica. Still couldn't get certain things done. And the economy is just trash. Absolute trash. But further, the UHWI and these problems that they face, that was coming from that time, that was never remedied. I believe you have to look squarely on the Jamaica Labour Party and squarely on Andrew Holness for the state of where the UHWI is right now. Point blank, period.
Thank you, Chairman. And so, yes, so
and also Christopher Tufton. He cannot be exempt. We know say Andrew are the big man, but Tufton have a responsibility as the Minister of Health. And I think he's failed in his dereliction of duties. He has failed miserably, Jamaica. I say that without any water in my mouth. Failed the people.
To the Minister.
I will not say that because the Minister cannot micromanage. The Minister appoints a board. Ought to, because the board is chaired by somebody who's appointed by the Minister. And naturally, if there is something egregious coming up, such as this matter, the board chairman immediately advised the Minister.
These matters, because I've made several issues.
There are several issues in this particular situation that would not necessarily have raised themselves to the board level. As the Chief Internal Audit Executive said, indeed, but the Chief Audit Executive would conduct his audit in accordance with this plan. The audit committee is made up of the board members. The Chief Audit Executive actually reports to the Chairman of the Audit Committee with a dotted line to the CEO.
Chairman who is a member of the board?
Yeah. Yes, the Chairman of the Audit Committee is a member of the board. Yes, it's a board committee. Right, so once an audit is completed, then he reports to he meets with the audit committee and the matter is discussed. And he might not be a part of the board, he definitely is not a part of the board. But what happens under normal circumstances is that on the minutes, on the agenda of the board, would be an item for reports from the audit committee, and the matter will be discussed there.
All right. That's all I wanted to get the procedure, because we're going to get you to the meat of the matter later.
Right.
Thank you.
Member, I don't know if it's Hamilton. Yes, go ahead, Member Hamilton.
Thanks, Chair. Based on what I'm hearing, I find that there are a number of irregularities and anomalies within the governance structure of the university. But one that stands out for me is the audit finding speaking to contracts that were approved by the CEO without documented evidence of evaluation or procurement committee review. And I wanted to find out whether the internal auditor ever highlighted any such irregularity, and whom did he report that to?
You heard the question, sir? Just repeat your question, Member Hamilton.
There is an audit finding that states that contracts were approved by the CEO without documented evidence of evaluation or procurement committee review. And I wanted to find out if your department ever highlighted such an irregularity, and to whom did you make that report in that instance?
All right, thank you, member. Not the same instance, but in similar instances, because normally when we're doing those reviews, we would have looked in the minutes to see those contracts that were approved, and we had issues. We have highlighted issues in which we saw contracts that were completed, but we did not see them as...
No, man, Juliet Cuthbert was in the meeting, not Juliet Holness. Juliet Cuthbert.
Ratified in the minutes, and it's in the audit findings, in the audit reports, and it is there, and nothing was done about it. All our audit reports are sent to the audit committee and the CEO. We have a dual reporting relationship where we report administratively to the CEO and functionally to the audit committee. So every quarter, Chair, the audit committee will get a report of all the audit activities for each quarter, and these will also be sent to the CEO for action. Thank you, member.
Jamaica, when you hear that, This man come serious enough. This man to me came here to let it be known that, listen, you're not gonna blame us, the internal auditors, enough. We did our job, and we're putting that on record. So the CEO, Jamaica, the CEO of the UHWI, whoever that is, whoever member of the Manchester Boys that is. Okay.
So you're saying that in that particular instance where the CEO, there's an issue with contract approval by the CEO, that such a report was also sent to the CEO for action?
Not specifically speaking to that particular issues. I'm saying, remember, that were similar issues.
But that is what you're saying would happen when you have a report about an irregularity. It goes to the CEO and the chairman of the audit committee of the board.
Yes, member.
For action to be taken.
Yes, member.
Member Morris.
Jamaica, I don't know if you understand what. I'm glad she asked that question, and she's a part of the Labour community. Andrew Holness community. So, any irregularities found by the internal auditors, it would go to the CEO for action. If the CEO, listen, what I'm hearing is this: if the CEO is corrupt, the CEO has the power to cover his or her corruption. If the CEO is the one that is pretty much aiding the irregularity, they are the ones that are policing themselves. The internal auditors cannot take any action more than send recommendations to the CEO for them to take action. They can't force them to take action. They pretty much have no power. That is crazy, bro. That is wild. There is a clear structural problem in these situations. And I guess she caught herself because she realized that, wait a minute, I'm subtly throwing Christopher Tufton under the bus. I wonder if this young lady is a supporter of Christopher Tufton or Andrew.
That were similar issues.
But that is what you're saying would happen. In that particular instance where the CEO, there's an issue with contract approval by the CEO, that such a report was also sent to the CEO.
A contract approval. Listen that again. That's tough. Wait a minute.
In that particular instance where the CEO, there's an issue with contract approval by the CEO. That's
an issue with contract approval by the CEO. That issue would be referred back to the CEO for the CEO to take action. Wow. Jamaica, you get it? Yo. The checks and balances, there's none. Pretty much. It's called monopoly. It's called dictatorship. I run the place. I have too much power. There's nothing there to check me if I go rogue. Wow.
A report was also sent to the CEO for action.
Not specifically speaking to that particular issues. I'm saying, remember, that were similar issues.
But that is what you're saying would happen when you have a report about an irregularity. It goes to the CEO and the chairman of the audit committee of the board.
Yes, member.
For action to be taken.
Yes, member.
Member Morrison.
Thank you, Chair.
I was removed, transferred to another department the 1st of February 2024 and reinstated the 2nd of February 2026.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and explain to us why this wasn't being followed, the portal requirements for procurement.
Well, what?
And it just was so? No, to use a portal which is what's supposed to happen, and not happen. That's what we feel requirements for procurement. And I've seen the response. I see there was a circular dated June 3rd, 2023, but it seemed that circular was disregarded, and then there was a memorandum. I assume this date should be October 5th, 2025, not 2026, right? But again, retrospectively. So my question, and the acting CEO may not be able to answer because you're new, but how can people be staff just disregard a requirement to use a portal, which is what's supposed to happen, and not happen?
So he's talking about JAM. He's talking about JAM. This is super important. So, how you doing, Excellence? The Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAM. There is a system in place for the UHWI workers to log certain things in there. And what he's asking is, how can there be a system in place to be used and nobody uses it? There's a total disregard for that electronic system. Yo, man, listen, this is yo.
So if a CEO sends a memorandum in 2023 instructing people to follow the guidelines, use the portal, nothing is done, and it just was no.
There's no accountability. Dang.
No referral to HR, nothing written on the file.
Nobody gets fired.
It just was
Yeah.
Who can guide this committee in answering that question?
I'm going to ask Mr. Ainsworth Buckridge, who is the Senior Director for Procurement, to provide a response.
Okay. Good morning again, Chairman. What
can you say how long you've been in that post, sir?
Well, I've been in this post for approximately 10 years.
Okay.
I was removed, transferred to another department the 1st of February 2024 and reinstated the 2nd of February 2026.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and explain to us why this wasn't being followed, the portal requirements.
2024, 2026.
Well,
right?
what since my return, I realized that based on the audit findings, that the portal is to be used 100% of the time. So
was it being used any other time?
Yes, it was being used. What was done, all procurement over 10 million was being used, uploaded to the portal. And so what we have done now...
Was it that there was a misunderstanding that things below 10 million didn't need to go on the portal?
For the most part, I think there was a misunderstanding in terms of...
Yo, you guys need to see the look on Julian Robbins' face. He was like, what? Are you saying that there was a misunderstanding, sir? You telling us that you guys did not understand. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Birthday time. Yourself, you hear that? The moment if you big up to see him, happy birthday. The word is love, blessings and abundance. Stay safe. Where's the woman? Yes, we say it, man. Mommy say from her as well. Happy birthday, love. Bless up yourself, alright? Big up. You don't know. We talk. Not true. Make me know when you get in. Alright? You know me up. That is it. People, me have to big up my friend for that moment there. Right? That's not true. Hold on, it got you? You know, so me I noticed something from what there. Did it go through? Hold on there. Hold on there. Let me see something here, sir. Did it go through? Hold on there, hold on there, hold on. Oh, this one I got through, but the next one never got through. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Interesting. All right. So big up. Tomorrow later I'm gonna talk. Where are we? Here we are. Yo, me say I want to see Julian Robinson face so the man said this.
Misunderstanding that things below
Was being used, uploaded to the portal.
Yeah man, today a fair day man.
And so what we have done now,
was it that there was a misunderstanding that things below 10 million didn't need to go on the portal?
for the most part, I think there was a misunderstanding in terms of
All right, I'm going to allow him to, but you can hear from the members their concern about this. And the fact that even though it's over 10 million, it is a very small number of the transactions that were done that were actually uploaded to the portal. So what I'm trying to understand is what would be the issue that would prevent people from uploading to the portal, and then this must have been, somebody must have seen that this wasn't being done. What was being done to hold those persons accountable?
Exactly.
I think, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I think there was a lack of training and a lack of implementation.
Jamaica, I wish you to stay like me. You fi know when fi smell BS from a mile away. When you're talking about holding a government accountable, me mean you not ease off of their neck. You pressure them. What kind of nonsense is someone here chat? There was a lack of training. Then who for fault that? If you have a system in place where you jump in, and you see, no, I am asking anybody that knows any member of JAMP, Miss Janet Caldler, we need to hear from you in regards to this portion of this argument from the PAC. Is it that JAMP is responsible for training these people on how to log in the data? Is it JAMP that was responsible for not letting them know exactly that everything is supposed to be logged? Where was the breakdown that these people are speaking of? Because I refuse to believe that is merely training. I don't think it's that complicated, Jamaica. And if it was that complicated, at what point did a lack of login alarm somebody to say, wait a minute, we're not receiving the logging that we're supposed to be getting? Basically, you guys are not paying your taxes. We need them to pay them taxes. And somebody goes, oh, you don't know how to pay your taxes? That's the issue? Let me teach you how to pay your taxes. And that would have solved the issue early out. How does the issue get prolonged to the point where you have all of these different things in contracts that are not logged? This is something is fundamentally wrong, Jamaica. None of this makes any sense. None of it makes any sense.
Of the policy, of the GOJ policy, which as I think, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I think there was a lack of training and a lack of implementation of the policy, of the GOJ policy, which, as I've said from the beginning, Mr. Chair, that we are fully in agreement with the findings of the Auditor General. There has just been breaches after breaches and lack of implementation. And so they did not implement the policy as it.
So this man is blaming the government of Jamaica. That is interesting. That is interesting. So we're going back to Tufton now, Andrew Holness. Wow.
Should have been. We have now done that as of March 1. All, not some, all, no matter the size, must be on the portal and are being placed on the portal.
No, I appreciate it, Mr. Wilson, what you're doing going forward. I appreciate that. But I still need to understand why you said training and capacity. But I can't buy that because some of the transactions were being uploaded. So it's not that people never know, that people didn't know how.
Yo, big up Julian Robinson, bro. Oh my God, bro. Even when I'm trying to be objective, Julian Robinson just... Yo, I'm literally trying to be objective, You guys think I'm being overly critical? What I am saying is, I am giving you an olive branch. Okay. There wasn't enough. I don't know the system personally. So there wasn't enough training. But now Julian I gonna say this, and it makes sense. How come some people sometime in lag and sometime in a lag? It's not a training, it's so them know how to lag it. And now you want us to buy that individuals did not know that everything needed to be logged? Come on, bro. You're telling me that the policy did not give them the memo? Alright, so proper policy implementation would be you implement the policy is on the website and it's understood. You're supposed to log everything. What is so complicated in that? How do you mix up logging some things and not? Brother, that is like a law being passed. And you say, yo, if you shoot somebody, you get such and such time in a prison. Right? Just like what them say 15 years for a gun. It's law, we understand. Boom. You have a fake gun or whatever, a makeshift gun, you get 15 years mandatory. So what is the problem with logging in the information in the accountability portal? Oh, it's an accountability portal. So then it's a problem for the Jamaica Labour Party. That is the issue. Oh, I get it.
To upload it, there's a reason you said training and capacity, but I can't buy that because some of the transactions were being uploaded. So it's not that people never know, that people didn't know how to upload it. There's a reason people chose not to upload these transactions, and I need to know why. And in a scenario like this, how were people? What did people hold up their hand and say, "Well, I have a technical problem," or nothing? And then somebody noticed that these things weren't being done and say, listen, we must follow these GOJ requirements. That's...
Brother, I just standard operating procedure. It is not that complicated. Listen what the man has said.
Because a circular was sent and basically ignored. And that's what I'm trying to understand. I appreciate what we're doing going forward, but we must understand what took place. And if something took place, what was done to correct it, etc. So I'll give you back the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you, Chair. From my understanding, the circular, the procurement unit was not aware of this particular circular at the time.
No, hold on. Let me read. Procurement department members were instructed to strictly follow the circular dated June 3rd, 2023. So what? The circular never reached the people?
I didn't understand that a while ago.
No, I'm reading what the management's response is.
I thought you were mentioning the circular from the Ministry of...
Yes, the response of management. I'm reading management's response. The procurement department members were instructed to strictly follow the circular dated June 3rd, 2023. Yeah, so what? From 2023 onwards, we're fully compliant?
No, Mr. Chairman, I think what the Auditor General explained is that the compliance and the memo to them to state they must follow the guideline was sent to them after the Auditor General had finished their work. They were being
so they never saw this before?
They were not practicing it. Some were saying they never knew of it.
So that's what I want to know. So if that's so you're saying, sir, that don't mind keep turning off your mic, keep on your mic. You're saying that the staff in the procurement department were not aware of this requirement before the Auditor General came in?
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Sorry. All right, Ministry of Finance.
Jamaica, we can't believe this over here. We not doing no lie. This is absolutely crazy, bro. This is amazing. This is BS. These people are peeing on me and telling me it's raining, bro. The level of disrespect. Don't think people are eat that?
Help me here. So you're saying the procurement department only became aware of the need to do this after the Auditor General's report?
Yes, sir.
Why this get bizarre. But hold on before I come to you. Ms. Blake, help me as Minister of Finance. This would be a circular which comes from the Ministry of Finance, which is sent to each ministry to be sent to each department, agency, under the purview of each ministry, right? The U is a big entity. It's not a party shop. It's not a little 1 or 2 shilling you spend. And
it's not a party shop. Excellent, where they. Excellent, where they. It's not a party shop.
When I say that, nobody in the The one used in 2021? So sir?
Oh, we started to use it, sir. We went on a training.
When?
In 2021. And we were told that there were 5 organizations that were being used as a pilot project.
Okay.
And it relates to GoJEP. And that is when we said we would start to use even though we were not a part of that pilot, we had made a decision internally to start to use the system with 10 million and above.
So that decision was made by what, the procurement department?
Procurement department, sir.
From 2021?
Yes.
So everything from 2021 going forward, you would have been complying with everything 10 million or
10
more?
million and above, sir.
So even with that, the number, so all is what, 20 of 800? 800. So everything that was not put up was below 10 million? Couldn't be? It's only 20 of 800 transactions were uploaded to the portal. And you say you were doing 10 million or more. Is it that the 780 were below 10 million?
We do, yes, sir.
Yeah?
Because we do a lot of,
you sure? Make sure if you're not sure.
Well, I would have to have the empirical data.
Yes. If you're not sure, don't say that, because that don't sound right to me. But
Yo, and numbers, the man them talk about, you know, let me go back to that question because that's serious.
It's only 20 of 800 transactions were uploaded to the portal. And you say
only 20 of 800 transactions was uploaded to the portal. Only 20 of 80. 20 of, Bubbly Wagwan. Play that back.
It's only 20 of 800 transactions were
20 of 800, that left 780. Make we ask the other question.
uploaded to the portal. And you say you were doing 10 million or more. Is it that the 780 were below 10 million?
We do, yes, sir.
780 transaction was below 10 million. Alright, well, I could do the maths. Yo, oh my God, this is insane, Jamaica. It's literally insane. All right, so this is so bad. I'm kind of at a loss already. So 9 million. All right, so 780 transaction times 9 million, cause it's under. Sorry. So that's $7.20 billion. Now, if the total goes over $7.2 billion in terms of those contracts added up in total, in value, then his argument would be false. That's why Julian Robinson, how you doing, Angela? That's why Julian Robinson said, yo, be careful, like, are you sure? Don't perjure yourself. Remember, you're in the house. Alright?
Yeah?
Because we do a lot of
you sure? Make sure if you're not sure.
Well, I would have to have the empirical data.
Yes. If you're not sure, don't say that, because that don't sound right to me. But can't be right. Sorry, Ms. Blake, I just want your intervention or somebody from your team in terms of when this portal was implemented and how the communication took place to the ministry's agencies and departments. Let's press your mic, so.
Morning again. So we did have a pilot. So the system came about around 2016. We did have a pilot, and in 2023, we would have issued a guidance note indicating that it is mandatory, which was also followed up by a circular sent to all the public bodies, ministries, departments, and agencies. The Office of Public Procurement Policy would have also conducted training with public bodies regarding the use of GoJEP. And I'm aware that a number of entities, they're using the platform, but they're not using it fully, right? And I know that the University Hospital of the West Indies has been using the platform, though not fully, in the sense that you're required to use the platform to advertise your procurements and then to close out your procurement and publish a contract award notice so that the public can see what contracts you are letting. What some entities do is they use it to advertise, but do not go back into the system and close out the contract so that the public can be notified of the award of contracts. But we have conducted training over the years since 2023 to know, and we send out blasts from time to time to entities on our mailing list, and the University of Australia West Indies will be on that.
Well, let me ask you, because it's a systemic issue, and who monitors whether the government spends millions of dollars putting in a system like this? Is it that each ministry through the PS has the responsibility to monitor and determine whether there's compliance with this, or does that sit somewhere else? Because hospital is not the only entity that would not be compliant. So to what extent would you be able to say what the overall compliance is in the public sector with this system?
So the Office of Public Procurement Policy controls the GoJeb platform, and so we can see who use and who do not use the system. I can provide you with the exact data in terms of what the compliance level is. I mean, I can tell you though that it is the closeout of the contracts is low. The rate of usage is higher, but the closeout is low. But I can provide you with the exact data. What I'd say though is that Section 19 of the Public Procurement Act makes clear that the head of entity has a responsibility of ensuring that there's compliance with the Act, regulations, and administrative guidance that comes from the Office of Public Procurement Policy.
So that means the CEO is where the buck stops, where the UHWI is concerned in making sure that that Act is followed. Very interesting. Let's play that back a little bit.
What I'd say though is that Section 19 of the Public Procurement Act makes clear that the head of entity has a responsibility of ensuring that there's compliance with the Act, regulations, and administrative guidance that comes from the Office of Public Procurement Policy.
That is somebody from the Ministry of Finance. So this goes back to the CEO again. Yeah, they use the app to advertise but not show the procurement. I think the finalization. What I think.
That's something I would like you as a follow-up to the meeting to provide that, because this goes to the heart of accountability. Taxpayers need to know how their funds are being spent. Once a procurement goes out, it is advertised, and then you need to know you have awarded a contract. You need to know whom the contract was awarded for and for how much. That's the heart of accountability and governance.
Yep.
So you're basically saying that you started in 2021, but again, I would like you as a fellow, I don't want you to guess and spell, get the information from it, because what the report says is 20 out of 800, which is unacceptable low, and I can't accept that all of those 780 transactions would have been below 10 million, which would necessitate them not being uploaded. So get that data provided to the committee as a follow-up.
Okay, Chair.
Yes,
just a follow-up. He did say though, Mr. Barrett, did you say the training for GoJeb was in 2023?
16.
I mean, it would have started before that, and it continued from year to year. So usually the Office of Public Procurement Policy will have trainings, particularly in the summers. We have summer series. In 2024, we had an Elevate Procurement Conference that had a lot of training around various aspects of public procurement.
And what was the amount that you'd have to go on GoJeb for? Because I just did something as a member of parliament, and it was $5 million, and they had to go on the site.
So
I'm trying to understand, of the 20 that were published, does that mean then the 780 were below $5 million?
Right. So there's a mandatory requirement for using the GoJeb platform for anything above 1.5 million Jamaican dollars. For amounts below that, you are encouraged to use it, but it's not mandatory. But for anything above 1.5 million Jamaican dollars, there's a requirement for the system to be used.
So that's even crazier, because that means the University of the West Indies was purchasing stuff for below $1.5 million. Am I understanding correctly?
Well, the question I would ask is where the 10 million figure came from, that you decided you'd use 10 million and above, given that the government requirement is 1.5 million.
Right.
So where did that figure come from? Somebody
Exactly.
just pull it out of the ear? Or no, let me just ask, because maybe there's some rationale for the 10 million figure.
Okay, the rationale for the 10 million, it was an internal decision because of the training, the department.
You know what I am hearing, Jamaica? This is what I'm hearing. Is that this entity just runs itself and them just do what them feel, how them feel. I am hearing, listen, you know, we really don't need a lot of checks and balances. We can't, you know, it's all left up to us. But it's 68% of the Jamaican, of their funding comes from our tax dollars. But they can just do and decide what they should put on JAMP. Yeah, we made that decision. You know, we made the decision of how accountable we're going to be. Man, you cannot make this up, bro. You cannot make this up. You can't.
So the department made that decision. Was that sanctioned by the board or anybody?
To my understanding, at the time, it was mandated. 5 organizations, if I could remember, were doing the pilot project with GoJet. So we at the time it was still a pilot project, but we at the time feel that we, in terms of learning the system, so when everything come on mainstream, the department would be of faith without to monitor the system, and that is how that 10 million came into being.
So basically a decision was taken to circumvent the system. I mean, that's what it is, because no, but you can't tell me no if it's only 20 out of 800 transactions were uploaded. Well, help me, Auditor General, if I'm wrong.
All right, so my understanding, Mr. Chairman, as the procurement director said, in 2021, they were invited to participate in the training for the budget, how to use the system. The circular did not come into being until 2023, but the requirement, the mandatory upload of all procurement came in 2023. So in 2021, the UHWI participated in the training and they took the initiative. They were not required to upload to GoJet. They took the initiative to upload and said that they would start with procurements at $10 million and above. What they failed to do was actually in 2023, and I can't speak to about their knowledge of the circular, but I know that they received training at some point in time in terms of how to use the system. They never went back and adjusted the policy that they had implemented. So they never transitioned from the pilot into and to regularize the adoption of the requirements of the ministry.
I hear you.
Because I think they were doing it ad hoc. That's what we saw. They were just doing it ad hoc because they did not embed it in their control and governance process, which is what needs to be done.
That is correct.
All right, thank you. Again, so your follow-up is to provide for us a report?
So even the Auditor General have to be saving them on that one, because that really sounded terrible, you know. The system was not fully implemented, so they basically took the initiative to, you know, try to get ahead of the system and do it, and they decided, okay, this is how we're going to do it. But there wasn't any mandatory thing to say it's embedded in their practice. Does that make me feel better? Absolutely not. It makes me ask more questions, but let's continue.
Once you get the facts as to the 780 transactions that were not uploaded, what size those were and why those were not uploaded.
Okay, Chairman.
All right.
That is, so the next time they come, they have this meeting, I have to be here, because that 780 transactions must be below what? 10 million, 5 million, for it not to be 10 million. It must be below 10 million for it not to be put on JAMP, because they said that that is the standard that they were using. Hey, let's see how that goes, Jamaica. Keep an eye on that. All right, let's continue.
All right, I'll go into key finding 3, which must be the most egregious of them. So,
All right, so I went over that already. I'm not going over that again.
Doesn't that concern you that procedures are not being
Very happy to get those.
the committee is requesting that from the University Hospital that they provide a breakdown of the 681 million who it was provided to for what services and the amount for each. Same thing with the 8 companies that got the 431 million, what services are provided and how much for each as well.
I will do my best to provide you with the detail. As you will appreciate, some of these things are under investigation by the police and by customs, and so we want them to complete that to confirm certain things before we go and.
I know, but all we are asking for is we accept there may be other entities doing work, but in cases where public funds are spent, the public has a right to know how those monies were spent, and that's all. That's all we are asking. Yeah,
there's no excuses for him not to come with the information. That's basically what they're saying. There's no excuses, sir, for you to come and tell us, oh, you know, we can't provide this information because of this. No, come on, no, we don't want to hear that. Forget about it. Forget about it. All right. Let me see. All right.
Because that is when I am what? Manic. Being bipolar manic can also be something great, Courtney. But if not managed well, it can let you crash.
Okay. Andrea talk about mental health, sir. Guys, I have this, there's a little bit of a muffle or not a recorded, so I really need to get OBS right, you know. I really need to get OBS right. So let me go to this.
That's what I want to know. So if you
I noticed, AG, from your findings that there's a very high, in my estimation, extraordinarily high.
Member Miller, then Member Morrison.
It is to the PS.
Member Miller on this particular point.
Doing here. The Minister of Finance.
So they did advance that it's emergency as the basis for this
Well,
high
they
rate.
always advance that.
There's no document of these contracts. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. All right. I noticed, AG, from your findings that, in my estimation, there's a very high, in my estimation, extraordinarily high, 64% of these contracts have been awarded via the direct method, direct contracting. I personally find this rate alarming.
Whoa. Man, I was quick on the trigger on that one, boy. Woo. I wasn't sure, so I was quick on the trigger on that one. I'm gonna go to this. 212 it is. It's much lower. Oh, it's right around there, yes. Right around there.
AG, from your findings that there's a very high, in my estimation, extraordinarily high, 64% of these contracts have been awarded via the direct method, direct contracting.
I personally find this rate
64%.
alarmingly high for a direct
Very high.
contracting based on the quantity, the values associated. In terms of your, and this is for the Adrian and her team, based on your years of doing audits and review of procurement processes, would you not say that this is, this 64% relative to what you have experienced? Is it relatively high? Is it exceedingly high? Is it normal? Is it moderately high? What would you say?
What's up?
Somebody has to release, so I can turn it on. Okay.
It's a bit difficult to answer because it really requires comparison with what we have seen elsewhere. It certainly raises a red flag.
That's right.
Yes. And that's going to bring me to another point that I want to make. But we have seen instances like this. There is a report that we discussed here a couple of years ago, I think in relation to KCMC and the roads program. And remember, the concern raises that the majority of the contracts were direct contracting because the emergency justification is generally put forward, which is what UHWI is also doing here. The Ministry of Finance.
So they did advance that it's emergency as the basis for this high rate?
Well, they always advance that.
There's no documentation.
Right. There's always that matter of urgency. It certainly, I think, does not align with best practice.
Jamaica, do you hear the cynicism and the sarcasm in her voice? That's why I'm laughing. I don't know if you guys caught that. No, it's always an emergency, They always cite an emergency, but then there's no evidence of an emergency. This is what they call skullduggery, Jamaica. A loophole that is being exploited in the system. You understand? And it's one that needs to be plugged. And plugged quickly. Jamaica cannot take any more corruption. We can't survive. It's too much. It's just too much. We can't take no more, Jamaica. We have to ball out. We just cannot take any more. Way too much.
Because what it does is to remove competition from the process, and then this whole matter of value for money, is called into question. But my colleague is just drawing my attention to something, and I just want to have a look at it. Okay, fine. Yes. So the same point is being made in the report about value for money. But there's another matter that I really want to tie to this. We discussed it the last time we were here, and that is in relation to the dividing of works into smaller parts, because it's the same thing really, where you divide the works into smaller parts so you can do the direct contracting. It's related. Right. I remember we discussed it because there was a matter in the report for Houses of Parliament, and there was a discussion here about splintering and some probably viewing it as acceptable. I want to use this opportunity just to bring to the attention of all members the Public Procurement Act of 2018, and so that everybody understands why we raise this issue of splintering, or indication rather of splintering. The Public Procurement Act 2018 states the head of procurement entity shall not authorize a less competitive method of procurement.
Well, on the Jamaica, this particular portion here has to be recorded. She's in her element.
Value for money. But there's another matter that I really want to tie to this. We discussed it the last time we were here, and that is in relation to the dividing of works into smaller parts, because it's the same thing really, where you divide the works into smaller parts so you can do the direct contracting. It's related. Right. I remember we discussed it because there was a matter in the report for Houses of Parliament, and there was a discussion here about splintering and some probably viewing it as acceptable. I want to use this opportunity just to bring to the attention of all members the Public Procurement Act of 2018, and so that everybody understands why we raise this issue of splintering, or indication rather of splintering. The Public Procurement Act 2018 states the head of procurement entity shall not authorize a less competitive method of procurement than would otherwise have been applicable to a procurement by a splintering of a single procurement into separate procurements. So that is one, artificially reduce the estimated value of the procurement, or two, to apply a procurement method to any splintered part of a procurement which would not have been applicable had it not been for the artificial splintering of the procurement. I wanted to raise that because I think it's important that it's emphasized and it's communicated that splintering is not permissible. But unfortunately, it is practiced. And it is something that we see significantly across ministries, departments, and agencies. And it comes back because the splintering is also to enable direct contracting as well. Unfortunately, what we find is that with the use, or probably not so unfortunate, but more indicative that the use of direct contracting, we generally see issues with those contracts. In terms of the outcome, because it's not just the procurement process that must be assessed here, but it's the intended outcome for the procurement process. And oftentimes, the outcome is not what it should be, and generally results in either additional resources being pumped in, resulting in the overall increased cost of the project.
Thank you, AG.
Jamaica, give me a second. Just give me one little second. Because you see, what the Auditor General talk about this is critical. Splintering. I just want to ask one little question, you know? She talked about it happening all across the ministries. Searching for a better way. So, Jamaica, I want to ask a question in regards to what the Auditor General just talked about, which is splintering, right? Am I to understand that not only is this happening across all the ministries in the Jamaica Labour Party government, because they have been the government for the last 10 years and there has been a pattern. I want to ask the Auditor General this. Would you consider the Cornwall Regional Hospital a splintering contract? You stated that it has to do with the emergency contracts. Oh no, a better example would be the buses. Because Darrell Voss didn't get the buses from one dealer now, did he? You know, would you consider the drill a splintering? I think the drill would be perfect, isn't it? The drill, when you look at the drill, Jamaica, right? The drill, according to the contract, if I'm not mistaken, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, allegedly in the contract, they paid for every single piece of the drill separately. Isn't that considered splintering in one procurement? Where it cost us way more than it should. A $31 million drill costing a $31 million drill that is supposed to cost what, $3-4 million? I would love to ask the Auditor General if I'm understanding her clearly, ladies and gentlemen, where this particular situation of splintering is concerned. Because, you know, it is a bother. It truly is a bother. I think we need to just listen to that one more time so you can soak in. Let's hear this again, Jamaica. Let's hear this again.
So that is one, artificially reduce the estimated value of the procurement, or two, to understand why we raise this issue. Some probably viewing it as acceptable. divide the works into smaller parts. We discussed it the last time we were here, and that is in relation to the dividing of works into smaller parts, because it's the same thing really, where you divide the works into smaller parts so you can do the direct contracting. It's related. I remember we discussed it because there's a matter in the report for Houses of Parliament, and there was a discussion here about splintering, and some probably viewing it as acceptable. I want to use this opportunity just to bring to the attention of all members the Public Procurement Act of 2018, and so that everybody understands why we raised this issue of splintering, or indication rather of splintering. The Public Procurement Act 2018 states the head of procurement entity shall not authorize a less competitive method of procurement than would otherwise have been applicable to a procurement by a splintering of a single procurement into separate procurements. So that is, one, artificially reduce the estimated value of the procurement, or two, to apply a procurement method to any splintered part of a procurement which would not have been applicable had it not been for the artificial splintering of the procurement. I wanted to raise that because I think it's important that it's emphasized and it's communicated that splintering is not permissible. But unfortunately, it is practiced, and it is something that we see significantly across ministries, departments, and agencies. And it comes back because the splintering is also to enable direct contracting as well. Unfortunately, what we find is that with the use, or probably not so unfortunate, but more indicative, that the use of direct contracting, we generally see issues with those contracts in terms of the outcome, because it's not just the procurement process that must be assessed here, but it's the intended outcome for the procurement process. And oftentimes, the outcome is not what it should be, and generally results in either additional resources being pumped in, resulting in the overall increased cost of the project.
Thank you, AG.
No, Jamaica, when I listen to that again now, the references that I made before, I think is on point. Especially Darrell Vaz situation and the drill. Oh, and definitely this situation with oh my goodness, the drill, Darrell Vaz, and also the Cornwall Regional Hospital. You understand? Because it's been years, it went from 2 billion to multiple billions of dollars. So the cost overrun is like, if you want us to believe that money is not being stolen, you're doing a terrible job at it. If you want us to believe that the Cornwall Regional Hospital project is not a feeding tree for scamming and stealing, you're doing a terrible job. I will say that. I don't think you're convincing any person that has a brain that stealing is not occurring. And that's just, it is what it is. But that's the perception we get from it. You understand? So basically what the Auditor General is saying, these direct procurements is the perfect opportunity for persons to steal. So in a time like Hurricane Melissa, here we go with the direct procurements. The buses, to me, something about the buses, man. You know, the fact that you can get you can pay for one of those buses for $1, that's a possibility, as an extreme, you know. But when you look at this, it says here that splintering in procurement or contract fragmentation is an illegal process, deliberately dividing a single large procurement required into smaller contracts to avoid competitive bidding, high level approval, or audit threshold, right? It is a form of manipulation that violates public procurement laws designed to ensure transparency and value for money. All right, purpose to deliberately avoid competition or unnecessary authorization limits. Methods issue multiple purchases orders or contracts for similar items or services at the same time or in the same or to the same supplier. So I want to ask a question, Jamaica. Isn't market me wasn't splintering or the perception of splintering, you know, detected and was raised as an alarm with market me, if I'm not mistaken? Ben Sponani. So I think we should pay attention to this. The Auditor General just educated us on something that we really need to look at. I don't know if you guys are really paying attention to her facial expression, but you should. She's telling us the quiet part out loud, Jamaica. And I want to say thank you again to the Auditor General. And for persons that watch these types of videos where I react to the Auditor General, yeah, you guys definitely should, you know, just be privileged, feel privileged that this lady is a patriot and she's not tied to any political party and anybody can get it. If you're not doing right by the law that she audits, she will. It doesn't matter if you're the prime minister. It doesn't matter if you want to say that she is incompetent. Remember the social housing program, what the Auditor General said about that, Jamaica, and how Andrew Holness, as a matter of fact, let me go to that article. 1 second. Yes, thanks for reminding yourself, Bolo. I was supposed to go for that article. Andrew Holness condemns the Auditor General. Yes, he sure did. He sure did, Jamaica. He sure did. Let me go. PNP, no. I don't want that. I don't want it. PNP, no. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a specific article. Yes, auditor. He rejects Auditor General's claims. This was a year ago. Perfect. I think this is it. God is the greatest. God is the greatest. So let me go here. All right, guys. So I found it. Let's explore this article right here, okay? Prime Minister Andrew Holness has flatly rejected an assertion by the Auditor General Pamela Monroe, who in a report tabled in Parliament this week outlined concerns that the government new social housing program is offering duplicated services and is in need of reform. In a sharp rebuke on the report yesterday, Holness said the government not only disagreed with the report, but repudiated the findings in intimating that it might have been arrived by the Auditor General as a result of either ignorance or incompetence. I kid you not. Andrew Holness called the Auditor General either ignorant, that means that she don't know what she's doing. She has been doing this for years, Jamaica. But when it comes on to identifying duplication in a program, she was ignorant. When it comes on to identifying duplication in a government program, she was incompetent. Andrew Holness, I'm glad I found out this article. This was January 8, 2025. Andrew Holness literally attacked the Auditor General and her intelligence, her expertise. He looked to tear her down to a decimal that people would not have the faith and confidence in her knowing what she's doing. And I want to tell you, over here in Bolo VNR, we reject Andrew Holness. We reject his government and all and his media personnel out there that try to destroy these people's professional credibility when they actually uncover things that make the government look bad. All of a sudden they're PNP, all of a sudden they're ignorant and they're incompetent and they don't know how to do the job that they have been doing for the last 30 years. Get out of here. You are full of SHIT. Plain and simple. Alright? So there you have it. You see it there on the screen. In fact, we reject the findings of the Auditor General as it relates to the operations of the new social housing program. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Damn out of order. Let me see if I find anything else on this article here. That's if it opens. If it doesn't, that's fine. I'll just leave it there. But yeah, again, this is evidence of what I'm talking about when it comes on to this government. No accountability. How dare you say that the Auditor General is ignorant or she's incompetent? The government that's the most incompetent and the most ignorant and the most wicked, led by Andrew Holness, has the audacity and the unmitigated gall to look at the Auditor General that has done her job with the most integrity all these years. He personally tried to tear her down, Jamaica. Mr. Man, hey, man, listen, bro. God, boy. Ooh, Lord of mercy. We are here waiting, Lord. That's all I will say. We are here waiting. All right? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section, man. Shout out to the Auditor General. All right? All right, wonderful. Let's continue, guys. I needed to throw that one out there. That was important.
Just following up, not necessarily to you, but that 64%, 7 out of 10 really, of every contract being awarded via the direct contracting is, as you're saying, is a red flag. And particularly within the context of some of the reports that we have heard. I mean, one of the profound statements, and I wrote it down, that I heard was that the issue of missing documents, as said by the chief internal auditor, is institutionalized and systemic. It's very profound. And I think we're all agreeing that, and the new CEO and his team, there's a lot to be done, but there's a broader, overarching set of questions that need to be answered. I want to go further into the same matter, Mr. Chair, where the finding of the AG as well indicated that $431 million of that 521, or 83% of that total sum, were awarded to 8 companies. In the context of, direct contracting, in the context of missing documents, in the context of getting value for money, I don't know if this question is directed at the Director of Procurement, or should I direct it to the CEO? Can you possibly give me a breakdown of those 8? Because those are, big companies. No, 8 companies, 431. How it is divided among the 8. Among the 8, one, and name the 8. So we can, because I can ask the AG that, but you have that information. And secondly, name the 8, how that 431 is divided in terms of value among those 8. Were those 8 beneficiaries of direct awarding in terms of the contract? So I don't know if it's you, Sir CEO or Director of Procurement, you may have that. Now those are big money, and of the 521 years, 431, 83% is those 8.
Thank you, member. The details, I would have to put that together and submit to this committee at another time, but we do have the information.
All right.
But
Yes,
not
I would,
with me now, but we can
really
provide, provide you with the details of it.
I wanted to just probe a little more. I know you may not have the specific data in front of you, but Are these, the 8, are these maintenance providers, meaning that you with AC, elevator, things that may break down in a hospital that require immediate action? Are you in a position to say?
It's a services,
Not-
works, goods.
Yeah.
It may span.
Not all, and in fact, some were consulting services.
There you
Okay.
go. There you
So
go.
that-
and through your chair, I did not get the name of the 2 consultants with the 186,000. Yeah.
For the strategic plan
Yes,
and
which
the,
we post. Yeah. Who are those?
The one that was recently provided, it was William Pragmatic Limited. They are from a firm of consultants, I believe, from Canada.
From Canada.
and what about the
The
other one, the
one
strategic
before-
plan?
No, that's the one, the first one that provided a draft strategic plan that was rejected by the board. That one is strategic alignment. So they provided a report, but the board did not accept that strategic plan.
That's
The
a
second-
Canadian company as well, Strategic Alignment.
There.
Is that a Canadian company as well?
No,
or-
no, I'm not sure of that. I think they are local, but I'm not sure. I can confirm. But what I do have is the second one, William Pragmatic. They're out of Canada. They provided a draft report, interim report, and there are several things that they require to complete. They say their work.
All right. So you will provide the 8 that 431.
And a breakdown of the 431.
The name of the 8, the values beside it, whether they were beneficiaries, the method of awarding for each, as well as the particular service or work or good
That they provided.
Yes,
All right.
I have a team recording that. So if you don't see me writing, the team.
Yeah, we will follow up, because
this
that's
is-
one of our follow-ups that we would need. Yeah.
Okay.
So the other final thing on this, there was a value of $681 million for consultants as well. Consultants, for hiring consultants and other related types of services associated with consultants. I take it probably would not have those names can share or a breakdown of that, because these are in the context of 64% direct awarding, in the context of missing documents, in the context of flagrant procurement breaches. It would be good because, the country, with this issue, the country has been hearing, references to only one named entity and a lot of the stuff. So we want to, I know the AG department can tell us the names of all of these things, and we are going to another issue where we need to get all the names. So all the names are out there. So again, 681 million for consultants, and procurement around that, based on the statement coming out of the findings of the AG. We would
$681 million, brother. No procurement. 681 million. What kind of free money?
certainly
Free
myself
money.
would be very happy to get those. That
No,
breakdown.
the committee is requesting that
Yes.
from the University Hospital,
Yes.
that they provide a breakdown of the 681 million, who it was provided to, for what services, and the amount for each. Same thing with the 8 companies that got the 431 million, what services are provided, and how much for each as well.
I will do my best to provide you with the detail. As you will appreciate, some of these things are under investigation by the police and by customs, and so we'd want them to complete that.
Brother, stop we're the thing on time and question. About police. We don't go over that already.
Is an indication of the secret
It doesn't.
we were told just yesterday. Depend on what they, where they are to be held accountable and what is recommendation. The committee is made up of lawyers, HR practitioners, senior.
Able to assist me.
Mr. Buckridge was reassigned in 2025, early 2025. He was returned to his position in February of 2026. You're asking why he was reassigned. I think they were hoping for him to be a part of a team to deal with digitization of records and so on. he was brought back in 2024 as the reassignment did not follow the correct HR procedure, and therefore we had to correct that because of that problem. It is on his return that we were able to find the 28, 29 files, having him to lead the search and to get that. So the Catherine Phipps committee, engaged by the board, is looking at all employees to determine where they are to be held accountable and what is recommendation. The committee is made up of lawyers, HR practitioners of very senior levels, and they are doing that. They are expected to provide the board with a report by June of this year. So in another 2 months, we are expecting the report, 2 months plus. We're expecting that report, and from there, if depending on what they say, we will take the necessary actions along with the police who are doing their investigation, and they are doing actual statements, and they are planning to do interviews. We were told just yesterday.
I do hope that somebody is held accountable for this, because those gaps that we're seeing, it doesn't sit well with me, nor the public, who an entity such as UHWI should be operating at a particular standard. So I do hope that report doesn't go missing like all the other documents.
I can assure you, I'm a part of the board, and I can assure you that we are taking the engagement of.
Yo, I love this lady, Miss Heather Miller Bennett. Man, shout out to you, man. She said, I hope that those reports don't go missing like the other files them. Yeah, man, we hope that report, yeah, man, we hope so we get it. Yo, shout out to you. That point needed to be made. Absolutely
A very
ridiculous.
well-known and very capable person as Catherine Phipps, and the members of that committee is an indication of the seriousness with which the board is taking this matter. But we want to follow the correct HR due process to ensure that we are doing it correctly and not get ourselves into any trouble at any other levels.
This question is for Mr. Buckridge. My apologies. Prior to your removal, were the documents kept in the same place when you returned? All your documentation, were they stored at the same location?
1 second, somebody has to release a mic so I can turn on his, yes.
Okay. Let me just add some context to that, Chair. Files were being kept in filing cabinets, and when those filing cabinets were filled, they were transferred into a storage room that has shelves on them. So we have always been using filing cabinets. And then, so the most recent...
So hold on. Why then did they tell us that the way how they fixed the situation was to get filing cabinets? Bro, listen, man. Listen. So the only thing they did was add additional cabinets to fix the problem? And if that's the case, why didn't they do that from the jump? That's not a revolutionary adjustment. That's not life-changing. That's not cutting edge. Yo, bro, the more and more I listen to this, is the more my head hurt me. Because I don't understand. I just don't get it. How are these excuses that are accepted, bro? What the hell is going on?
Recent files are kept in filing cabinets. So based upon my return now, when the process was not being kept.
So between when you left in 2023, you left in 2025?
Yes, early 2025, and returned in February 2026.
And returned 2026. So within that 1 year gap, or 1 year period, processes were not followed, you're saying?
Yes.
Very well.
Member Morrison.
Thank you, Chair. Chairman, we are talking about 22 procurement files with contracts valued at over 246 million, not found, appears to have vanished. Chairman, earlier you and I'm going to paraphrase, you said that you don't want to accuse anyone of being deliberate, but you're sorely tempted. When systems do not work, and when we are seeing that it is, when accountability is weak, I'm putting someone or entities that are benefiting by the apparent dysfunction. Chairman, we will hear that a new person is in the post, maybe a new CEO, or we will hear that the practice has discontinued.
You know, Jamaica, I am really wondering if this is a performance. Is Juliet Cuthbert and this lady, I don't even know her name. I don't even know her name, Jamaica. Alright, I'm just this lady, Miss Ma'am. Listen, whatever you identify yourself as, because this is where we're at nowadays. Alright, anyway, I mean no disrespect. Alright, I'm just saying, are you guys performing? Where is this energy coming from of accountability from the Jamaica Labour Party members? And this is an MP. This lady is an MP. Where is this newfound vigor? This passion for accountability by the Jamaica Labour Party? And me have to wonder, Antonio, if these people are performing because they know say the party is falling apart and some people want to step forward now like them did have credibility from morning. Alright, there's some of that because I don't understand.
And this Jumanji series of events.
Oh yeah, this is a performance.
It is becoming even more bizarre.
This is a performance. Jumanji, she did not go there. Wow. This is a performance. I'll rest my case. You know what? Let me just play it.
And outlandish and outrageous with explanation. When we hold people accountable, what are the suite of action items that follow when we say this entity or these individuals are to be held accountable? 246 million. Where are the missing files? Maybe if I...
Hold on then, miss. Let me ask you something. Are you aware of the billions of dollars that Andrew Holness potentially have that we have no account for because he's not certified? Where is the same energy for your leader that is not certified? And I believe that is a very fair question. Jamaica, am I being fair or am I being biased? Isn't it a fair question to ask this lady, the MP? I don't even know which constituent that. Listen, forgive me. But no, again, no disrespect. I just don't know. Alright? I don't know. But anyway, don't call me no two month. Don't call me no baga baga. This is baga baga. This is baga baga, Jamaica.
13?
Baga baga
I don't know.
behaviors.
But I want to call your attention to the brief, Chairman. It's not part 2 where we have note briefly that alarms me. It's not the part that says no documents were provided for 22 contracts. It's where it says we have not conducted an audit to determine the authenticity of the submitted documents. So I'm aligned with you, Chair, when you say we have
You say Sassy 81 to go into your bed? Alright, Mama. Good night. Bless you. Thanks for being here. Shout out. You're using a backup phone because, you know, I love to see look badge beside the name.
Back to this matter.
No, we have to. And that's why I had asked the Auditor General, but she indicated her plate is full. But we have to come back because we don't even know how bad the problem is at this point in time. But I must tell you now, 6 years me sit down in Nigeria. This is one of the worst.
Yo, the Auditor General is so cute, bro. I really like this lady. And she's a big woman, you know. She's a big woman and she cute. That is so dope. She's a big woman and she just have this clean aura about her. She's just so Yo, I like this lady. Let me screenshot. She's so cute, man. Let me screenshot this. We don't wanna ladies that might get jealous. Let me screenshot this. That is cute. That's a cutie right there.
Here's messy down in that chair. This is, but I must tell you now, a 6 years messy down in that chair.
Yo, she just did that with her lips. Yo, hey man, listen, ma'am, I respect you. You know what I'm saying, but you're a cutie. I'm sorry. Yeah, that what you did there, I gotta capture that. When Julian Robinson said what he said, she, through her facial expression, she was looking right directly at him. She did this little thing with her. She's like, listen. She's like, you have no idea, sir. She don't widen her eyes like mine, but she did it with her lips like, boy, let me tell you, boy. I'm telling you, man. y'all gotta watch these, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta watch these
Have to come
videos,
back
man.
because we don't even know how bad the problem is at this point in time. But I must tell you now, a 6 years messy down in that chair. This is one of the worst.
Her eyebrows lifted a little bit when he said that. It's not just her lips. I just noticed that. Her eyebrows.
Must tell you now, a 6 years messy down in that chair.
Yes. Her eyes widened a little bit. She was like, first she was like this. And then she raised her eyebrow a little bit and widened her eye a little bit.
This is one of the worst.
Yo!
The worst. And
she's smiling even more now. Oh my God, that's the face right there. She's like, yes, Mr. Julian, yes. You understand the mission. My work here is done. Yes, Mr. Julian. She's pleased, Jamaica. The Auditor General is pleased that the chairman of the PAC understands the gravity, the desperation, all right, of the situation that we're facing with these particular issues in the UHWI from this report. He gets it and she is pleased. Yo, this, man, listen, man. Let me show y'all, man. Y'all gotta see this, man. Look at her face, man. Ooh, sorry, my bad. Look at her face. That is her looking at Mr. Julian Robinson right now like, yes, you get it. My job is done in this regard. You guys understand. Look at her face, Jamaica. Look at that. She's looking directly at Mr. Oh. Yo, she looking directly at him, bro. Man, these are the type of thing I catch, when I'm doing these reactions, Let me show you guys over here. So, I'm not left for no TikTok, but I'll left for no. Now left for no that flip the camera. All right, look at this. Look at her face. Do you guys see that? Isn't she a cutie? That's one. Secondly, you can see her facial expression like, I am pleased, Mr. Julian Robinson. You get it. You absolutely get it. Yo. Man, listen, man. Shout out to the Auditor General. God bless that lady. God bless her. God bless her and her family. All right? Protect her. Guide her. God bless that lady. All right? Let's continue, guys. She's very pleased.
as I said, I can't conclude corruption because I don't have enough evidence, but it smells bad. It stinks.
The Auditor General had to bow her head and look down and was like, boy, he talking the truth, boy. He knows, he gets it. He gets it. It's like for her work that she did to me, I am reading from her body language, this is validation, and hopefully we can get some changes done, because this is truly a problem. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It stink. And understand, understand when our constituents go to university hospital or any hospital and them have to pay the fee and them call we as the MP for help, for pay the fee. And then people listen to this, And then people listen to this. And I say, when them go pay them tax, at this, them tax dollars I do, and then can go hospital and get an MRI or a CT scan.
Hold on there. Sir G, listen, I'm telling you guys, on the need to stop listening to the labor right flag of them. On the hear infomedia about them out and say them done and they're not relevant. Them are 2025 and now 2026. Anybody that is looking at this probe and think that the Jamaica Labour Party is looking good, they must be joking. Because the PNP is over this side saying, brother, anybody will guilty on the PNP side, the full force of the law, I saw it go. We're no business. That is the position of all well-thinking comrades and supporters of Mark Gullin and the People's National Party. That is our position. Let justice be served, Jamaica. You feel what I say? Yes. Yes.
We will follow up. We will follow up. We will follow up. Because nothing can go so in a 2026. Document can walk out of hospital. Fire, I don't hear about fire. Me hear about flooding. I'm want to report on the flooding. But it cannot be so that you just disappear.
Wait. You're telling me that people are making videos already saying that the companies are PNP? How irresponsible. I haven't even researched the companies yet. All I did was take down the names today. And I haven't heard anybody else found out like who runs those companies, who they are affiliated with and stuff like that. So, I'm not here to say the other companies are JLP, owned or whatever, or affiliated with members of the Jamaica Labour Party. I'm not even saying that. All over TikTok? Oh, man. Propaganda, guys. Propaganda. Alright, well, and somebody come up on the box. Say how this Falcon, me can't take nobody right now because I tell us, mother, I don't want no more nice than there is, yeah? And the phone loud when you come on the TikTok, I'm soon gone.
22 document can't find? Worth so much money? No, sir. Member corporate friend and member cousins.
22 documents cannot be found. Worth over $280 million. And it's flooding. All the document then just walk out of the filing, out of the storeroom. Yeah, it's storeroom flood. What then do? They were packed up on top of a shelf or on the side or the bottom of the shelf and then wet up. So where the document then they even if they wet up. And how comes the storeroom so vulnerable? And you're not talking about leaking a roof. They said specifically flooding, That means the water coming in at the room. You sweep out some with the broom.
Chairman, I have two questions. I wanted to go back to the beginning where I think it was mentioned that there are 8 to 10 members. I'm curious as to who are, as far as UHWI, who are those board members? Who are they made up of? The personnel on the board, the composition of the board.
You need the names of the individual?
No, not the name, but who are they comprised of? As far as the individuals, are there any medical doctors on the board? Or are there just members of civil society? Who are the members? The composition.
Okay, so we do have some doctors on the committee. The chief medical officer, Madam Misuse, is on the board. Also, the senior director of clinical services is on the board also, and we have in attendance
Antoinette Myrie, who is that?
Who are on the board.
Sorry, if I might help. Those are the persons not appointed by the minister, the dean of the faculty of medicine at the University of the West Indies, the chief medical officer of Jamaica.
Talk closer to me.
The dean of the faculty of medicine, University of the West Indies, the chief medical officer, who just left here a while ago, the financial secretary, the bursar of the University of the West Indies.
From which minister?
We only
The
have one
financial
financial
secretary.
secretary.
So it would be her
Oh, you wanted the
appointee.
medical people? Oh, okay. The chairman of the medical committee of the University Hospital of the West Indies.
Who is
And
that?
4 members
Who is
elected from
Anthony
time to time
Antoinette
by the
Mary?
council of the University of the West Indies, of whom not more than one shall be a registered medical practitioner. And the minister appoints
minister
8
appoints.
members, and the 8 members that the minister appoints consist of the following: 3 persons resident in Jamaica, one of whom shall be a registered medical practitioner engaged in private practice, 1 registered medical practitioner appointed on the nomination of the Jamaica Medical Association, and 4 persons.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. So let's focus on the 51 contracts valuing $521 million, for which, based on the disclaimer provided by the ministry, that they have not conducted an audit to determine the authenticity. That is very interesting. Of the documents that for the 22 contracts that were submitted. Chairman, earlier, the CEO said that 28 contract documents were submitted. No, were submitted, and 29 found 28 submitted. But there's one saying that is incomplete document submitted. What does that mean? Does that mean that you did not submit that one that was incomplete, or you submitted all 29 to the Auditor General?
No, we presented 28.
Okay. Early 2026, we would not have. They were using that.
How can you clarify how the board?
My question is, what would have necessitated the university using its tax-exempt status for these companies?
Mr. Chairman, I was not there, as you know.
I know,
I
yes.
have spoken to different team members. They are not aware as to why.
So basically, there the Mandeville, Mr. Manchester, Mr. Mandeville, the Mandeville boys is absent from this meeting because I don't know. Maybe they don't want no smoke. Maybe they don't want to answer these questions. That's a good question. I'm asking my wife, like, what the man just come there like what? Less than what? 3 months now? Less than 2 months now, the man there. The man is the acting CEO. Our chairman.
And therefore, I am unable to say the reason why it was done. Because as I said, in at least one case, they have no record. In others, as the Auditor General has highlighted, that the hospital paid for like a broker fee and other fees, but in one in particular, nothing was paid for, or it didn't go through even any process at all. So there's no record really of it. And it's not our goods. Based on the customs declaration, the goods did not belong to the hospital and were not a part of the hospital assets. In more than one, you do have that happening in terms of not being ours. Ownership is not
You're
ours.
saying in more than one case that is the case?
Ownership is not ours. In fact, in none of the cases, even though in the case where we purchased the crockery, we purchased it from the individual after the importation, and in the case of the garbage bins, we purchased those. But the other 2 cases, the asset was not purchased by us, even from a third party, a person who would have brought them in.
So in 2 cases, these were providers providing services to the university. The university facilitated using the tax-exempt status to bring these things in, and then the university paid the same provider for the goods.
Yes.
Yo, bro. Hey, let me tell you something, man. Shout out to the Auditor General. All I can say is this. None of them came here and said what the Auditor General said was a lie. Kudos to them. Everything what the Auditor General said in it and was concerned about is a genuine issue in the UHWI. Play that again. Let me play it for you. It is worth playing again. Mighty God.
The crockery, we purchased it from the individual after the importation, and in the case of the garbage bins, we purchased those. But the other 2 cases, the asset was not purchased by us, even from a third party, a person who would have brought them in.
So in two cases, these were providers providing services to the university. The university facilitated using the tax-exempt status to bring these things in, and then the university paid the same provider for the goods.
Yes.
Yo, talk about a sweet deal. You guys probably never read the report, but that was a big part of the report. If you listen to like Deion Jackson Miller, Will Rattigan, Mystic Sensation, Mr. Wayne Notes and Andre Stevens and all that programs like that, Mishi Dex, you know what I mean, Sulfur. These things are broken down. Talk to Mind TV, at half of the press, then break them down. The man them literally say, alright, you know what? I am UHWI. And I say, so so me need one phone, but here we go on. I have powers to purchase the phone and get a tax exemption. I want the phone, But what I'm going to do is allow you to purchase the phone with the tax exemption that I have. Right? And then when you purchase it and you receive it with less tax than you would pay if you buy it by yourself, you're going to now sell me back the phone so you can make a profit. Jamaica, what can go so? I don't care who is involved in this. That is a scam. That is called doggery. People forgot prison. I don't business. If a PNP or JLP, I am telling you right now, Jamaica, that is a scam. I don't think y'all heard what I said, I need a phone. I come to you as the company that me I say, all right, purchase that phone for me. I am going to purchase it through my company and give you the tax exemption. But I'm not going to use my money to pay for the phone. You're going to use your money to pay for the phone with the tax exemption. Now, when you get the item, it is now yours. You paid it for less. And now you're going to sell me for the same price that you would sell it for if you paid the taxes. Jamaica, make it make sense. How does the UHWI get a used and abused like this if somebody is not getting kickbacks? How is this possible? How is this possible? Listen, the drill is what you call that look like splintering, because they cut up the drill in every single part of the drill and then buy them individually. That is splintering.
So, all right.
Because we did not purchase the item, The item was not paid for overseas by the university.
So why, okay, so.
It's by the university. We did not purchase the item, The item was not paid for overseas by the university.
So why, okay, so.
Yes, Chair.
So in a case like that, why wouldn't the university simply bring in the things on its own behalf?
I'm unable to say, Chair, why the hospital chose this route and not purchase the item themselves. I'm unable to say why. And
Because it don't make no sense. If you have the money to pay for the item, probably double or triple the amount that is actually earned without the taxes on it. Why didn't you just purchase it yourself and get the tax exemption? This is stupidity, This is real criminality at its finest, Jamaica. I'm telling you.
None of the officers that are there were able to explain to me why.
Member Brown?
Yeah, thank you very much.
That is that part of the investigation, the police them have to go uncover. Why would anybody come and explain to you why that happened? Because I'm scamming that, bro. That are scamming from.
Sir Chair, so The first question I want to ask on this particular issue as related to the misuse of the tax-exempt status. The Auditor General, in her findings, said companies can
To show the signature of one who would have that authority to approve.
And that this was a deliberate scheme to provide profit, undue profit for a particular entity. There's no other way to explain it than that. Where in this scenario, the university could have just
Mama,
directly
son,
bought this.
my mama, where you deal with, big up yourself, big up yourself. No, so we there, go and beat it till I'm a bed, see me in the early morning. I soon gone to my bed now. I wrap up. Oh, 8 minutes, I go by the local part there, so.
Stuff for itself and brought it in.
But Chair, who approved it? That's the question.
So yeah, so the same company who benefited from that tax exemption turns around and sells back to the university at 3 or 4 times.
Well, the mama son in that place. Tony don't look a bit coming now.
Bolo,
Yes, mama.
I mean, and it's not those hours now.
Yeah, cause you always be aware.
Bolo, if a PNP, JLP, NP, them forgot prison.
Thank you very much.
Criminality
that is
who
it.
you are going to take the hospital tax exempt and buy something and come back, come sell it triple, flipple.
But you are going.
10 times more.
But you are going now,
Sell
mama
back.
son. You are going now.
So well, I know.
At the hospital, I can't. The
Listen,
hospital is the one that allow them to do it, you know.
Don't know that me I say. Well, I know that's why we want to know who benefit me. Them answer question there. But why Julie and why Cuthbert Flynn just simp and drop them alone? So, and she don't want them announce the next 4 names.
Listen.
Remember say 5 of them, you know. And 1 call out, drop them call out. So what about the next 4 when call about Supreme, Laundry, this one, yeah, that the one there. But we want to know who benefit off of those things when they sell back
who
something
own them? Who own their company there?
Because remember, you know, the one from Jap them, you know, them dialysis machine, they don't go to the hospital, you know. It goes straight to Jap them, you know. What benefit? What benefit the hospital get when, as them say, the people them want the dialysis machine, the hospital, them people have to go private doctor.
Well, you are going now.
Benefit.
You are going now. I am not here to try and defend Jack then, but this is what was said. They make a deal with the UHWI to provide cheaper services to patient overload at UHWI. So normally it would cost people, I don't know, 20,000, 25,000. So
why UWI never keep it instead of sending all the people them go out to him to get it cheaper? Why them never do it?
Them can't manage. Them couldn't manage the amount of people there, and them charge one certain amount of money. I get to. Me I tell you what the man is saying. Me not defend nothing. See somebody also. It look like when they say the only thing Jack then benefit from is a tax exemption. Exactly because the machine them, the machine them what them use, them provide a cheaper service to people coming from the UHWI than where UHWI would have charged them. So people got the UHWI and need the service, then send them to Jack then and Jack then charge and cheaper money. No Peter Chambers that. What go on apostle? Big up yourself.
Big up yourself, my prophet.
Yes,
Big up
man.
yourself, my prophet. No flow and respect. I love you every day. I talk about your prophet.
True, man.
Because I guess I know, all the way you don't want the nation and tell them about this wicked government and the corruption and the skulldog with them that say you're fake. But watch you know. They say, Tanas in a boy, not God left you to watch them. Watch them and go down like a butter against someone.
Why?
See, you did talk, they say, I them own, I will bring them down, you know. You see, Rosie come up, Mr. Chambers, and then more left, come up, Mr. Chambers.
Yeah, man.
We just listen, me and watch, and me and make God let me live to see. All of your prophecy come to pass. If I even that me, I live for it to see more and see before it. Me shut me eye. Because you that one way. You that one the nation. You tell me to repent. I know the people that still not repent. Mr. Chambers, them not change their ways. But God alone knows. You understand? But me I look on it, Bolo, when me look, me say them forgot to print, but as you say, Jack them no benefit because Jack them never sell, buy and sell like when the
No,
rest of
it's
company
different.
do.
They offer one cheaper service. That was the deal. Jack then say, all right. As a matter of fact, Jack then is saying that it's the hospital that approached them to work out that deal there. So and I like say tax, and I like say Jack then they go and say, you know what? Me want to get that benefit here from you. Make we work out something. And the hospital go to them and ask them if they can do this for them. You see me? So that are the difference between Jack then. So you see, what happened is that Nationwide has created this narrative on the internet because the thing did sound bad and it came under the watch of the Jamaica Labour Party. Yes, so they wanted to shove the blame on the PMP.
Bolo. If you hear about this buy and sell, if them buy if them get the tax exempting and them get it for $1.
Yeah.
And when they reach at Jamaica, them sell it back for $7. Who get that 6% there? Who benefit that? Eh?
I don't know.
Why you hear them ask them what the for buy the glass and where the glass for? Them not keep no function for keep no dinner for buy glass and plate and all of them with them there for. What all of them there for?
Well, if you look at the name of the company, one of them is Supreme Laundry Services. One of them is Willman's Sales, and the other one is Scientific Media Services.
So Willman, one there for that one of them that's Willman in center, Williams. Eh?
Yo, man, no comment. Anything possible.
No, anything possible. You see me? But the man there, you see that man there will just come in, the new CEO.
Yeah.
But him not shut him out. Because you see, if you follow them, they put themselves in prison, you don't notice.
No man, listen, him can't put himself in prison. Let me tell you why.
That's why I must say.
He never did it. Him never did it. And when him come down my earbud this, so him can't go to prison.
You know, it's a forgery going on some signing. Because two of the name them, when call, somebody sign and then somebody forge it and sign it back, say the same doctor, the same CEO.
Me never catch that part there. Me never catch that part there.
Because he must say, him know, like I say, him a one of the CEO and the one that did it before. Something signed for the CEO there. And when them look at the next company, the same something signed, but you can't say, I know the man, the original one, signed it. So who that do the forgery? Criminality. I say the police are investigating.
Yeah.
It's a big criminality. You watch the one, you see the big black one in there where we see the thing that went up. And my man asked him, say, all right, them wet up. Which part them they them for put to dry and you and meditate.
You can't disappear. You rain no wash them when I got her.
Well, all that the rain wash them when I come and take them out. Which part the documents every day? He must say they in a field office, he did there so. But that, no, they might do it bad. They might do it bad.
They might do it bad, man, for sure, man. But the man, they said there is a place where you store the things them, but like the place full up, so them put the stuff them in our next part. They put the thing in our next part.
That big flooding, they can know what coming on. I know what to say.
Mighty God.
Oh
no.
We never hear about that place where just flood out some. Just flood out some.
No, one of the things them.
And you know the man said the place flooded in couldn't even walk because the amount of water. So you ever go again to you know, so you need a water boot. You need a water boot. Hey, them people wicked to the Jamaican people, them to the bad Bolo. We have to take back things like
That's true.
You see, I come on my mouth because Kurt Burn Slim just a sing and chop them and I ask some things like everything.
Well, listen, for your agenda from the PAAC meeting. So you know, say Andrew, one of them sent she to come out, to come focus on that. Because them are strategists, you know.
Yeah, them a distract.
Yeah,
Them
man,
a
them
try
are
distract the weather
strategies.
company. Because remember that them don't call already, you know.
Sergi,
So alright.
Sergi, you will never know who leaked the names to NNN. You will never know. It's the syndicate of them, you know, man. It's the syndicate of Satan, you know, man. You understand? You're not gonna know who leaked the name them. It's just like the Integrity Commission report. Names are leaked. You feel what me I said before, it even tabled in the parliament. Crazy.
Then that Mr. Brown said to him, the youth say to him, you know, say only the name. And
Yeah.
if him can tell the rest of name them, because one name don't call already.
Yeah.
Who are the next four company? But that boy they beside of the man, you know, beside of the CEO, no. Him just look guilty or something, him just look
Who that,
guilty
the
or
black
something.
brother?
The black boy, the task slick. No, the big man one, you know. But the slim youth to give him the phone to call the name. And the rest of company them on the
Oh,
phone.
him have a ominous look for you.
And yes.
Yeah, man.
And
That
just
slim
look for
brother
the
there with
man
the big eye, them
was
attack.
yeah.
You want to hear them big and he's slim. Yeah, man. Me know what you attack.
Him remember said the look over old man the righteous, so and the boy the over the sun, he has the fat man beside of the old man.
May I show you exactly who you attack.
Yeah, so when the man attacks, when I tell him I whisper at the man, he's like he must say, yo, be careful what you're saying. And the man just step on. It's in the police and like how it's in the court, I fear not to say anything because allegedly and this and that. Me I say, alright, he never did it. And me hear them ask him what will happen again after this. When something like this happen, what will come out. You understand what investigation are going to go on and they must say depend. But if you couldn't buy it yourself for the hospital, why not make somebody else buy it and come back and sell back the government, the taxpayer them triple time, 11 time more. One something them buy for $1,000, you know. Say 1.5 million now. And when you come back in the hospital themselves for 7.5 million, you know. And you remember one sell for 3 million, you know, and they come sell it for 11.5 million, you know. So who benefit why them sell, but where the buyer and seller come from when them when them could not do it themselves if them
And that bridge in your attack. That one.
Yes.
If you know if you attack, man.
Yes.
You have an ominous look. I'm not saying guilty, but I can see why you would have think what you think. You have an ominous type of look, you know, the way your facial expression they might react to when something they say.
And Marie, good morning, baby.
Yeah. You see me? Big up the people and respect.
Yeah, man. Yeah. The boy that look guilty or something. I will like them. I remember I've never did that first, you know, like I send him, you know, and say, yo, go beside that and make sure him know what I say, you know. So it's like him whisper at the man and say something to the man. I even meant when him ask him a question, him and say, not to say it, because in the law, under the police and they on the investigate. And that's why the man approach him and say, yo, give me the name of the four other company. Because we hear about one already. So if I want the out that we don't really hear about Jack them, just you quit the man, I'm ready for Jack them name, but you know I get the name of the rest of the company.
One key thing about Jack then as well, one of the gentlemen that's a shareholder of Jack then, he said that the company is ready to pay for the taxes.
Mackie, good morning, Mr. Mac. Mr. Mac, good morning. See you, sir.
You understand?
Good morning. Yeah.
So them willing to pay back the money where just to clear up the tax exemption thing, because them basically I say we no benefit, right? And they must say them still are gonna provide the same cheaper services to the clients the UHWI and still pay the taxes. But Mr. Wilratigan was saying, yo, why wouldn't you just never do that from the start? Because to me, when you look upon it, it just don't look good.
It don't look good.
It don't look good. It just don't look good.
We don't do it on yourself.
Yeah, just offer the service them cheap and done. And avoid this a bangarang and mix up. Yeah.
And then alone name a call.
Yeah, because they control the media, right.
Yes. Yes. But Bolo, we watch them, you know. We not lay them up, you know, but we are watch them.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Because Bolo, oh your girl they chew them their coat. No, she never that's nothing more.
Who that?
Rosalie.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is, you know. But
Yes, from a girl at the
Rosalie strikes me as a person where if she feel like she want to talk, she not afraid.
That is it.
You know,
That
but
is it.
somebody put up one thing on must be Twitter and say, or Facebook and say, why should they hope Rosalie not take no bribe from Andrew? Fi not talk.
Yes.
But you know, me not worry about it because as I say, as we have said, the prophetic word have to come to pass, you know.
Yes.
Somebody that is untouchable will take down and expose the secrets of the Jamaica Labour Party. If it's Rosie, it's Rosie. If it's not Rosie, it's somebody else. So we just waiting with bated breath to see how that unfolds. You see me? But as me say, I go leave, you know, at 2 o'clock. I need to get a little bit of rest. Burn out from there. Get some sleep.
That's a brother, enough love and respect.
Yeah, man.
Everybody,
Yeah.
have a good night. Have a good
All right.
morning.
You
evening,
too.
afternoon, all type of enough time in the world now. So.